Tonight, as you close a long day, let your mind rest. Take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and allow all the worries of the day to settle. In this very moment, there is nothing to do, nothing to strive for. Just be here, listening to the Buddha's gentle words, so the heart feels lighter and sleep comes deeper. This is Dharma in Motion, where we slow down together, look deeply into life, and learn to dwell in peace amidst constant change. In life, people often see others' faults more easily than their own. When the mind is restless, we become irritable, quick to anger, and find fault in everyone. But the Buddha taught that the world outside is merely a mirror reflecting the inner world. When the heart is clouded by greed, anger, and delusion, we see faults everywhere. When the heart is calm, the world naturally becomes kind. As children, we were pure, innocent, quick to smile, and quick to forgive. But as we grow, we wear layers of prejudice, fear, and worry. We look at those we love through rose-colored glass, and those we dislike through dark lenses. When we are happy, everything seems light. When sad, even a small word can wound us. And then we realize suffering doesn't come from others, but from how we perceive them. To suffer less, the first thing is to take off that stained lens. Letting go doesn't mean indifference, but returning to care for our own mind. In the rush of life, amidst the city noise and pressure of work, we must learn to pause, simply to breathe, to know we are here, alive, present. When the mind is at peace, everything becomes more gentle. Judgment is the habit of the ego wanting to be right. Yet when we try to win with arguments, often what we lose is affection. The Buddha taught that everything is impermanent. Thoughts come and go. People come and go. Emotions come and go. If we hold tightly to right and wrong as a weapon, we will lose the peace within. Someone once said, "Seeking others' faults is like putting garbage on your own head." Truly, every time we dwell on another's flaws, suffering clings tighter to our heart. Life is short. Who knows which day will be our last? Why waste time on resentment and judgment? Instead of holding on, we can put it down. Putting down doesn't mean forgetting, but no longer letting anger control us. Compassion is not weakness. It is the strength of deep understanding. An angry person may be suffering. A dishonest one may be afraid. When we see their roots, our own anger softens. Forgiveness is how we release the burden we carry within. Whether we choose to trust again depends on wisdom. Forgiving doesn't mean allowing others to hurt us again, but freeing the heart from the heavy stone of hatred. In this age of social media, we often get trapped in invisible comparisons. Looks, money, happiness, fame. Each comparison breeds suffering. Greed because we want more, anger because others have more, delusion because we forget impermanence. The Buddha taught there are three kinds of affairs: ours, others, and those of the universe. True happiness comes when we do our part well, respect others' paths, and flow with the will of heaven. Much suffering comes from forgetting that boundary. Tonight, if your heart still feels heavy, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and a long breath out, then whisper within, grateful to still be breathing. Then reflect, did I say something harsh today? Cast a too critical gaze or hold on to something that wasn't mine? If so, just recognize it. Recognition is the first step to transformation. We are often polite to strangers but easily harsh with loved ones, yet they are the ones who shelter us in storms. So before you sleep, if you can, send a thank you, a message, or simply a hug to someone who truly cares for you. Remember, water too clear has no fish. A person too critical has no friends. When we see the good in others, our heart feels light. When we see only their faults, we suffer. Time flows only one way. Don't wait for tomorrow to live, for the right conditions may never come. Begin now. Release one judgment, speak one gentle word, take one deep breath, Each small change turns the Dharma in motion one more time, moving us closer to peace. Before sleep, silently recite, breathing in, calm, breathing out, still. With a few dozen breaths, you'll feel your body soften, your mind quiet, and the inner noise fade. That is the moment when the Dharma in motion turns, ignorance dissolves, and light arises. Remember three things: your own tasks, do with sincerity; others' matters, let go; the universe's will, bow in acceptance. And that is enough for a peaceful night. Life is fragile, hearts are ever-changing, but with a bit of stillness, a deep breath, and one grateful thought, we return to ourselves. Let your heart be light as wind, mind gentle as water, and sleep come softly. Each of us has within three fires: greed, anger, and delusion. These flames may seem small, yet when ignited, they can burn away inner peace. They are the roots of all suffering and the greatest lessons in being human. The first flame is greed. Greed is not only for money or possessions, but also for recognition, love, and even happiness. When greedy, we want to keep everything forever. Yet life is impermanent. Everything we grasp will leave: youth, loved ones, opportunities, even this body. The more we cling, the more we fear loss. The more we fear loss, the deeper we suffer. Greed doesn't only live in grand desires, but in daily moments, wanting more of a delicious dish, buying one thing and wanting another, being praised yet never feeling enough. That is greed. It keeps the mind restless, always looking outward, always craving. The Buddha said, "No fire burns fiercer than the fire of greed. It consumes not only others, but the one who holds it." To extinguish greed, we need not abandon everything, but learn contentment. Contentment is wisdom, seeing that what we already have is enough for happiness. A warm meal, a peaceful home, a healthy loved one, a full night's sleep. Looking deeply, all are blessings. The content person is not one who has little, but one whose peace is not disturbed by desire. When the heart feels enough, the world becomes gentle. No more struggle, no more fear of loss. The second fire is anger. Anger arises when what we wish for does not happen, or when someone goes against our will. In moments of anger, we may speak words that wound others and regret them for life. Anger is like a fire in the heart. The more we feed it, the stronger it burns. But if we can pause, recognize it, and simply be aware of it, the flame will naturally fade. Anger itself is not evil, for it is a natural human emotion. The harm lies in identifying ourselves with it, allowing it to control our words and actions. When someone hurts us, our instinct is to react immediately. Yet if we can pause for just one breath, only one, everything changes. To be angry but aware of anger, to feel it without being led by it, that is wisdom. The Buddha taught, "When angry, do not speak. When speaking, do not be angry." Words spoken in anger are like arrows shot. They cannot be taken back. We cannot wash away burns with water, nor can hatred extinguish hatred. Only love and understanding can dissolve anger. Remember, those who hurt us are also suffering. They cause unrest because they themselves are not at peace. When we see this truth, anger transforms into compassion. The third fire is delusion, ignorance of the true nature of things. Delusion makes us lost, mistaking illusion for reality, the impermanent for the eternal. Because of delusion, we suffer over those who have left, over things that cannot change. Delusion makes us believe we are the center of the universe, that everything must follow our desires. But in truth, life does not unfold according to our plans. Some people come into our lives only to teach us a lesson, then leave. Some jobs appear only to help us grow, then fade away. When we understand delusion, we begin to see life with awakened eyes, without clinging, without aversion, without attachment. What comes, we welcome. What goes, we smile and let go. Ignorance dissolves when wisdom arises, and wisdom arises through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the light that allows us to see clearly what is happening within. When we know greed is present, greed weakens. When we know anger is here, anger softens. When we know delusion is active, delusion fades. This knowing does not require force, only full presence in this moment. A mindful person is like a lamp in the night. The darkness outside remains, but where light exists, darkness cannot enter. So, nurture mindfulness each day. When eating, know you are eating. When speaking, know you are speaking. When breathing, know you are breathing. Simple, yet this is the path out of the suffering caused by the three fires. Modern life makes us forget our own presence. We rush after work, money, success, and then worry about losing them. We get angry because others don't understand us, yet often we don't understand ourselves. The Buddha said, "To conquer 1,000 armies is not as great as conquering oneself." To conquer oneself is not to suppress, but to see clearly one's mind moment by moment. When we see clearly, we are no longer dragged away. Each time greed arises, smile and say, "I see you." Each time anger appears, take a deep breath and quietly observe. Each time delusion clouds the mind, return to the body. Feel the breath, the heartbeat, the warmth of life. Just like that, the Dharma in motion within us turns, gently but firmly, slowly but steadily. Then one day we realize life is still full of challenges, but no longer unsettling. We still work, still love, still seek happiness, but with a lighter, broader heart that knows when to let go. Greed, anger, and delusion still exist, but no longer have the power to burn us. For every fire needs fuel. When we stop feeding it, it goes out on its own. Tonight, as you close your eyes, remember, all suffering has a cause, and within each suffering lies the seed of understanding. Look deeply within, and that seed will bloom into peace. Let your breath carry you through the waves of the mind. Each breath is a return. Each moment of awareness is a step toward liberation. Then your sleep will not only rest the body, but also the soul, free from anger, craving, and confusion. Only a gentle stillness remains, like moonlight on a tranquil lake, where the Dharma in motion continues to turn, slowly, peacefully, eternally. There are things we do not want to release, even when it's time to let them go. A relationship, a dream, a word left unsaid. We cling because we fear emptiness, loss, and change. Yet within that clinging, suffering takes root. The Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. Impermanence is not to be feared. It is the miracle that allows transformation. Leaves fall so new buds may grow, sunsets fade so dawn may rise again. Only when we set down the old can the new enter. Many suffer because of the past. They relive memories, mistakes, and, if only, moments. But the past, whether joyful or sorrowful, is gone. It remains only in memory, like the shadow of a bird already beyond sight. Clinging to the shadow, we miss the open sky before us. Some relationships have hurt us deeply, yet we can't bear to forget. We think letting go is betrayal or indifference. In truth, letting go is not forgetting. It is freeing both sides. When we let go, we no longer demand others to be as we wish, nor force ourselves to play old roles. Letting go allows the heart to breathe and the past to release its hold on the present. In meditation, there is a simple contemplation. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. When you open your hand, the sand rests still. So it is with life. When we hold too tightly out of fear, that very fear makes us lose what we cling to. When we allow things to flow naturally, they stay with us in the gentlest way. Letting go is not giving up. It is changing how we see, stepping out of the loops of suffering. When we release expectations, we see our loved ones as human, capable of weakness and mistakes. When we release control, we see life unfolds perfectly without our constant effort. When we release self-blame, we begin to forgive ourselves, and that is the deepest healing. Forgiving oneself is not easy. We may be kind to others but harsh with ourselves. We torment and judge our past mistakes. But if that old version of you had never stumbled, how could you possess today's wisdom? So, send gratitude to your past self, the one who erred, for those mistakes were the seeds of growth. Modern life makes us cling to our self-image, to be successful, competent, admired. We tire ourselves maintaining a perfect version and forget that everyone has fragile moments. The Buddha said, "Be yourself, do not try to become someone else." When we dare to live authentically, we let go of one more illusion. Letting go of attachment is also letting go of the ego. The ego always wants to prove itself right, important, and recognized. Yet the more we assert the ego, the more it binds us. Try just once, not needing to be right, not needing to win, only to be at peace. Then the heart naturally feels light. We still live, work, and love in this world, but without the heaviness of comparison and competition. Letting go does not come from reasoning, but from deep understanding. When we truly see that everything changes, we stop clinging. When we clearly see that suffering arises from attachment, we naturally release it. Letting go is the fruit of wisdom, not forced effort. If you have ever lost, ever been hurt, do not try to forget. Look directly at it. Let the pain breathe, be spoken, and dissolve in the light of mindfulness. When we look deeply into suffering, it ceases to be suffering and becomes a lesson. And through understanding, the heart opens, gentler, kinder, more compassionate. Tonight, if something still troubles you, whisper softly in your heart, "I allow this to pass." It may be a person, a memory, or an expectation. Let it float with your breath, carried away by the wind. You lose nothing. You are only returning to life what no longer belongs to you. Each breath is a chance to renew. Each sleep is another beginning. Do not carry old burdens into dreams. Let your heart be open, like the sky after rain, clear and still. When you awaken tomorrow, the sky may be different, people may change, work may change. But when the mind knows how to let go, you will smile at it all. For you know that no matter how life changes, one who lives in peace never loses peace. Let this night be a gentle reminder. Nothing needs to be held too tightly. Nothing needs to be forgotten too long. Simply live fully in each breath, each moment, each loving gaze. And thus, the Dharma in motion within you will keep turning, gently, steadily, shining through every silent night. Perhaps all of us have felt weary from trying to please others. Sometimes just a careless word, a fleeting glance, a passing remark, and we carry it all day. In this world, as many people as there are that many opinions. If we live to please everyone, we will never live for ourselves. The Buddha taught, "The mouth of the world is wider than the ocean. No one can fill it." Praise, blame, compliments, or criticism, all are just sounds outside. The suffering lies in letting those sounds echo too long in our hearts, disturbing our peace. People may call you good, and one day call you bad. Today they love you, tomorrow they grow tired. Today they praise, tomorrow they scorn. Human minds shift with circumstances beyond our control. But one thing we can control, keeping our hearts still amidst praise and blame. When praised, smile with gratitude, but do not believe too quickly. When criticized, smile also, but do not grieve. Both are merely reflections of others' minds. If we chase praise and fear blame, we live like a leaf in a storm, sometimes lifted high, sometimes dropped low, never steady. The Buddha himself was once slandered and insulted, yet he remained silent. When asked, "Why don't you explain yourself?" he replied, "If someone offers me a gift and I do not accept it, the gift still belongs to them." So it is with criticism. If we do not accept it, it cannot harm us. In truth, praise and blame hold power only when we believe them. If someone calls us worthless, it hurts only because we already fear it might be true. But if we know our true worth, such words pass like the wind. Thus, suffering does not come from others' words, but from false beliefs within us. Living in this world, the hardest thing is not to be loved, but to remain ourselves amidst the noise. Some spend their lives chasing others' approval and forget the light within. Some listen so much to others' voices that they lose their own truth. To live that way is to exhaust the soul. Remember, no one truly understands our entire life. They see the surface, not the pain, effort, or silent sacrifices beneath. So never let anyone define your worth. No matter what others say, live kindly, do what is right, and keep your heart pure. Time will answer every argument. Someone once asked, "How can we keep calm amid praise and blame?" The answer is simple: return inward. When the mind is calm, outer words lose power. When we live mindfully, every word we hear is just sound, nothing more, nothing less. We do not need to reject, only not to cling. If someone praises you, thank them for seeing the good. If someone criticizes, thank them too, for showing a part yet to be whole. Every word, whether gentle or harsh, can be a teacher, if we know how to learn. Those who scold us may teach patience. Those who dislike us may teach compassion. Everyone who crosses our path brings a lesson we need. Living like this, we no longer fear misunderstanding. We know that as long as we do not misunderstand ourselves, it is enough. Others may not see, but the Buddha nature within us knows. The universe never overlooks a sincere heart, nor forgets a single good intention. Sometimes we must be silent, not out of weakness, but because we see clearly. Not every matter needs to be right. Not everyone needs to understand. Some things are best left to the wind, for the more we explain, the more tangled they become. Silence is also compassion. It prevents the heart from birthing new sorrows and spares the world another spark of anger. Tonight, if someone's words have hurt you, close your eyes, breathe softly, and ask, "Am I truly as they say?" If yes, correct yourself. If no, smile. Then forgive them and yourself. Everyone is learning how to live, and no one is perfect. The Buddha taught, "The wise are like the lotus, untainted by the mud, yet blooming in purity." The world may be full of noise and slander, yet those who practice can still dwell in stillness. The noisier the world, the quieter the mind must be. The more we are misunderstood, the more love we should offer. Remember, peace is not found in being praised or avoiding blame, but in how we face both. When the mind is like a still lake, even if stones are thrown, ripples arise but soon fade. Do not let others' words stir your heart, for when the heart wavers, we lose our freedom. Live like a candle. Even when the wind blows, it still shines. Even when misunderstood, keep smiling gently. Because those who truly understand you need no explanation, and those who do not, no amount of words will suffice. As long as your heart is bright, the path you walk will naturally be illuminated. And if someone criticizes you, remember, they only see a small part of your long journey. You are walking your own path. No one else can take your steps for you. So just keep going. Walk with peace, with mindfulness. Each steady step, each deep breath is a way you are turning the Dharma in motion within your own heart. Today, if you have lived with sincerity, even if not perfectly, that is enough. Smile and tell yourself, I am learning to live truly, not to be perfect, only to be at peace. Then relax your shoulders, take a deep breath, and let the night breeze carry away your fatigue. In this very moment, you are returning to yourself, a quiet, genuine soul that softly radiates light. In the stillness of night when sitting alone, have you ever asked yourself, what keeps us steady amid life's constant changes? It is not money or fame, but gratitude. That quiet yet powerful energy that keeps our hearts bright through uncertain days. Gratitude is not a polite gesture, but a way of life. A grateful person sees the world with gentle eyes, finding light even in small things. A simple meal, a kind greeting, a cool breeze on a hot afternoon, all gifts of life. When the heart is grateful, even pain becomes a lesson, and failure turns into opportunity. The Buddha taught, among the hardest things to do, 1 is to be grateful, 2 is to repay kindness, 3 is to bear no resentment. Humans forget easily. When we have, we forget who helped us. When we lose, we blame heaven and earth. Yet life is never unfair. What we have today is the fruit of countless kind causes, from those who planted, cared, taught, loved, and even those who hurt us. Be grateful even to those who caused pain, for they taught us forgiveness. Be grateful to those who left, for they taught us to cherish those who stayed. Be grateful for failures, for they taught patience. Everyone who passes through our lives, whether briefly or long, helps shape who we are today. When you truly understand this, you will stop blaming and only wish to smile. There is a saying, when you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. Indeed, the grateful never feel lacking. They see life not through demand but through appreciation. Even in hardship, they feel enough. And in that enoughness, peace arises. In today's fast-paced world, we often forget gratitude because we live too quickly. We are used to having everything with a touch: food, information, compliments, fleeting pleasures. But what comes easily is easily forgotten. Only when something is lost do we realize its value. So take a few moments each day to pause and remember what deserves your gratitude. In the morning, be grateful for waking to a new day. At noon, be grateful for having strength to work. At night, be grateful for a home to return to. Gratitude needs no grand ritual, only a mindful breath. I am alive, I am here, I am enough. Someone once asked, how can I be grateful when life feels unfair? The Buddha taught, everything happens due to causes and conditions. Nothing comes by chance. Every situation, every person, every challenge is a condition that helps us learn the lesson we need. Conditions are not always pleasant, but they always arrive at the right time. Whoever appears, to love or to leave, brings a message we need to hear. When we see life through the lens of cause and condition, anger and resentment lessen. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We can ask, what is this teaching me? That question opens the door to wisdom. Seeing through cause and condition, we understand that no one owes anyone, and no one is truly anyone's enemy. Every meeting is a connection, joyful or painful. It helps our heart mature. Some people walk beside us for only a short while but leave a lifetime imprint. Some come to teach us love, some to teach us letting go, some to teach us silence. No one comes without reason. No one leaves without meaning. What we call loss is merely the completion of a connection. When the cause is ripe, it arises. When it's fulfilled, it fades. To cling is to suffer. The Buddha taught that the wise do not complain in adversity but contemplate deeply. They look into the root and see that every seed has its time to sprout. When we sow good seeds, though the fruit hasn't yet appeared, it surely will. The question is whether we have the patience to wait. Just as when planting a tree, we cannot dig it up daily to check the roots. Simply nurture it, and one day the fruit will ripen. Karma and conditions are just like that. People come together because of causes and conditions, and part because of karma. We cannot force a bond, nor can we hold on to a karma that has ended. What we can do is keep a kind heart, so that even when the bond fades and the karma ends, the heart remains free. When we truly understand this, life becomes lighter. No longer craving to win or to hold, we simply wish to live deeply, fully, in every moment. The grateful person is always at peace, for they see that everything is precious, both the good and the bad, both joy and sorrow. They do not compare their life with others, for they know everyone has their own path. They know that what comes is timely and what goes is necessary. Gratitude helps them let go of resistance and embrace everything as it is. If tonight your heart feels heavy, think of something small that you still have. A friend who listens, a child who calls you every day, or simply the warmth of a blanket, the gentle breath of a loved one nearby. Let that gratitude spread through your body, then radiate outward like incense drifting softly through the night. Gratitude is the foundation of all happiness. When we are grateful, we no longer crave, and when we no longer crave, the heart is naturally at peace. Gratitude reminds us that no matter how much the world changes, there are still countless little things to cherish. When we look with eyes of appreciation, we see miracles hidden in the most ordinary moments. One day, when you look back, you will realize the things that once made you cry are what made you wiser. The people who once hurt you became your teachers, and the days that once made you feel broken became the ground on which you now stand strong. So, learn to say thank you more often, not only to others, but to yourself. Thank yourself for enduring, for trying, for still walking this path. Thank life, though harsh at times, for giving enough challenges to make you grow and enough love to soften you again. Before you close your eyes to sleep, place your hand on your heart and whisper, "Thank you for another breath today. Thank you for a place to return to. Thank you for teaching me how to love and let go." Then take a deep breath, letting that gratitude flow through body and mind. Sleep will come gently like drifting clouds, and with each breath, the Dharma in motion within you will keep turning, slowly, steadily, radiating the light of gratitude. Modern life makes us run so fast that even we cannot keep up with ourselves. Each morning, we wake to dozens of messages, hundreds of notifications, thousands of distractions. We rush into work, eat in haste, live in haste, then feel exhausted and wonder why we feel empty. But the Buddha taught, if you wish to find peace, stop. Peace is not at the end of the road. It is within each step, each breath, each moment. Many modern people think mindfulness is a luxury reserved for monks or those with free time. But mindfulness is not about form. It is the art of living awake in every small act. When you wash dishes and know you are washing dishes, when you eat and taste each bite, when you walk and feel your feet touching the earth, that is mindfulness. When we live hurriedly, we merely exist, not truly live. The body is here, but the mind is scattered across 10 places. We eat while thinking of tomorrow's tasks, work while replaying yesterday's events, sit with loved ones yet lose ourselves in our phones. Thus, despite having every comfort, we still feel lonely. No matter how far we go, we still feel lost, because we have never truly been present in our own lives. The Buddha said, "There is no path to happiness. Happiness itself is the path." Simple words, yet profound in wisdom. Happiness is not found in where we arrive, but in how we walk. When we live fully in each moment, even the smallest act becomes meaningful. A cup of tea, an afternoon sunbeam, a gentle gaze, all are miracles when we are truly present to feel them. Mindfulness is not forcing the mind to be calm, but softly being aware. When worried, know you are worried. When sad, know you are sad. When angry, know you are angry. That alone begins to calm the mind. What causes suffering is not emotion itself, but being unaware that we are carried away by it. When the light of awareness shines, the darkness of ignorance fades. A mindful person is not one without storms, but one who can walk through storms without sinking. Amid work, they keep steady breath. Amid conflict, they keep a kind smile. Mindfulness is the anchor that steadies the heart's boat in life's vast ocean, preventing it from being swept away by anger, desire, or fear. Someone once asked, "How can I practice mindfulness when life is so busy?" The truth is, it requires no extra time, only presence. When brushing your teeth, just brush. When eating, just eat. When speaking with someone, truly listen. Mindfulness begins with such simplicity. You can practice through the breath. Each morning before turning on your phone, sit still for 1 minute. Breathe in and silently say, "I am alive." Breathe out and smile, "I am grateful." 1 minute seems small, but done daily, it can transform your day. For in that minute, you are not lost in the past or chasing the future. You are truly here. Mindfulness also helps us stay centered amid worldly noise. In this age, people are easily swayed by social media, where happiness is measured by likes and success by others' approval. We chase illusions, forgetting that true happiness comes from within. The mindful person does not let those illusions rule them. They know when to pause, when to set the phone down, when to say, "Enough." The Buddha taught, "The mind is like a monkey jumping from branch to branch." But we need not chase it. Let the mind see itself. When the mind is restless, simply whisper, "I know the mind is restless." When the mind is calm, whisper, "I know the mind is calm." That knowing is the Buddha within us. And when the Buddha is present, delusion has nowhere to dwell. Some nights after a long day, we feel heavy for no reason, weary from too much noise, too much information, too many worries. In those moments, do not seek distraction or escape. Sit quietly, turn off the lights, and just breathe. Breathe in, knowing you are breathing in. Breathe out, knowing you are breathing out. After a few minutes, you'll feel it. The mind softens, fatigue melts, and a warm stillness fills your chest. That is the miracle of mindfulness, the power to renew yourself in this very moment. You need not go anywhere or achieve anything. Just return to your breath, your body, your heart. Each return turns the Dharma in motion within you one more time, polishing away the rough edges of ignorance, anger, and fear. Then you realize mindfulness was never foreign. It is the natural state of the heart when unobscured. When you eat and know you are eating, walk and know you are walking, speak and know you are speaking, you are truly alive. But when you act unconsciously, life passes by unnoticed. A mindful person does not need to withdraw from the world. They still live, work, and love, but with a lighter, clearer heart. They know when to speak and when to be silent, when to hold and when to let go. And thus, their life flows in harmony. Tonight, before you sleep, you can practice mindfulness with a single breath. Inhale and feel the air passing through your nose, flowing into your lungs. Exhale and relax your whole body. Feel the warmth of your being, your presence in this very space. Just like that, you are already living mindfully. Tomorrow, as you step outside, carry mindfulness with you. When listening to someone, listen with your heart. When looking at someone, look with eyes of understanding. When working, work with full attention. No matter how fast the world spins, if you keep mindfulness, you will never lose yourself. For one who lives mindfully does not seek peace. They are peace itself. They do not wait for happiness to come. They create happiness in every moment. And when the mind is at peace, sleep will be peaceful too. The noise outside fades away, leaving only soft breaths, steady heartbeats, and a gentle stillness spreading through body and mind. Then you will understand why the Buddha said, "Mindfulness is the only path to liberation." Liberation is not somewhere far away. It is here, in every moment of returning. The very instant you are aware that you are alive, breathing, present, you have stepped out of illusion. And in that stillness, the Dharma in motion within you continues to turn, slowly, serenely, illuminating the night. There are days we feel tired, not from too much work, but from trying to control everything around us. We want everyone to understand, everything to go smoothly, every plan to unfold our way. Yet life does not follow our will. The more we try to grasp, the more we lose. The more we hold on, the more we suffer. Letting go of control is not giving up. It is living in harmony with causes and conditions, understanding that some things arrive on time and some things must leave when their time is done. We suffer because we want everything to be like this, but the universe has its own rhythm. Sometimes what we call misfortune is a hidden blessing. What feels like loss is life's gentle protection. Only as time passes do we see that what once caused pain has become the very thing that made us grow. The Buddha taught, "All things arise through causes and conditions. Nothing comes from nowhere, and nothing truly disappears. When the conditions are right, flowers bloom. When the conditions end, flowers fade. Yet in every fading lies the seed of new blossoms." Impermanence is not loss. It is the natural flow of life. We often fear impermanence, fear change, fear losing what we love. But if life never changed, would we have spring, summer, autumn, and winter? Would we grow wiser after falling? Would we know to cherish what we have if we had never lost? Impermanence is life's way of teaching gratitude for every moment we are given. Those who understand impermanence do not grieve over what is gone. They smile for what has been. They do not ask, "Why did it end?" but softly say, "Thank you for having been." At that point, gain and loss, presence and absence, all become as light as drifting clouds. Letting go of control is one of life's greatest lessons. We cannot command the wind. We can only adjust our sails. We cannot make others change. We can only keep our own heart steady. We cannot force life to flow our way. We can only flow with it without losing direction. To flow does not mean weakness or resignation. It is wisdom, the knowing that everything has its right time. Like a river winding through valleys, sometimes calm, sometimes fierce, yet always moving toward the sea. So too we may step back, not to lose, but to see more clearly. When we stop fighting, we realize that what truly matters is not victory or defeat, but peace of heart in every outcome. Someone asked, "How do I know when to hold on and when to let go?" The answer lies in the stillness of your heart. When the mind is clouded by fear, we cannot see clearly. But when it is calm, we instantly know what to stop and what to continue. That knowing does not come from reasoning, but from deep listening within. Sometimes one slow breath, one quiet pause, and the answer is already there. Letting go of control is also letting go of attachment to results. We often do good expecting reward, and when it doesn't come, we feel disappointed. The Buddha taught, "Do good, expecting nothing in return, for the fruit ripens when the cause matures, not by our schedule. Our task is to plant the right seed. When it blooms, let wind and sunlight decide. If you have given your best and things still did not turn out as hoped, do not be sad. Maybe the conditions were not yet ripe, or perhaps life is gently guiding you toward a better path. We see only a fragment. Karma sees the whole picture. When we trust in causes and conditions, we no longer suffer from what we cannot control. We understand that everything unfolds as it should. We just need enough stillness to perceive it. Observe nature. The tree does not try to grow. It simply lives as it is. The flower does not compete to bloom. When there is enough sun, it opens by itself. Likewise, we do not need to force life to be different. We just need to live sincerely, act wholeheartedly, and let things move in their own rhythm. That is the way, living in harmony with causes and conditions instead of resisting them. Letting go of control also means releasing the need for others to be as we wish. Everyone has their own karma, their own journey. We can advise, we can love, but we cannot grow for them. When we force someone to live our way, we take their freedom and trap ourselves in disappointment. True love knows when to stop. It understands that love is not control, but respect. In modern life, we carry too much: responsibilities, expectations, standards. Everyone tries so hard to fulfill many roles, parent, child, worker, friend, that we forget ourselves. But remember, even the Buddha could not please everyone. We don't need to become anyone else. We just need to live fully in our present role with sincerity and mindfulness. There is a beautiful saying, "Letting go is not losing, it is returning." When we let go, we reclaim the energy once bound by fear and control. We begin to feel lighter, breathe deeper, and open wider. The world remains the same, but our perception changes, and in that change, peace is born. Tonight, if something still burdens your heart, take a deep breath. As you exhale, imagine releasing a leaf onto the water. You don't need to know where it will drift, only that it is being carried by the wind. That is letting go. Not knowing the end, only knowing you've released. Close your eyes, feel your breath moving through your chest, and listen to your heartbeat. No matter how life changes, you are still here, alive, breathing, with a chance to begin again. And that itself is a miracle. Letting go does not make you weak. It makes you strong. For only those who truly understand impermanence dare to let go. They know that in release lies freedom, and in clinging lies suffering. The one who can let go is the one who truly masters life. Let this night be a gentle reminder. We cannot control the river, but we can learn to swim with its flow. We cannot keep flowers from fading, but we can cherish them fully while they bloom. We cannot make people stay, but we can love them kindly while they are here. When we understand this, the heart becomes naturally at peace. And when the heart is peaceful, everything around us becomes gentle. The Dharma, in motion within, turns again, no longer rigid with attachment, but soft, full, and light as the night breeze gliding across the water. In the rhythm of steady breaths, within the silence of night, we feel one deep truth. Everything comes, everything goes, and all we need to do is smile at it all. In this life, perhaps the hardest thing is not how fast we go, but how we keep the mind steady amid praise and blame, gain and loss, success and failure. For when life changes, hearts change too. Today they love us, tomorrow they may hate us. Today we succeed, tomorrow we may be empty-handed. If our mind rises and falls with each fluctuation, we will never truly be at peace. The Buddha taught, when the mind is at peace, the world is at peace. When our mind is still, no matter how big the outer waves are, we stand firm. When our mind is chaotic, even if everything around is calm, we still feel storms within. Peace does not come from avoiding the wind and rain, but from learning to stand firm in the storm. People in the world often think happiness lies in gaining, being loved, being recognized, being successful. But the Dharma teaches that true happiness lies in knowing enough and accepting. If we are happy only when we gain, then loss will make us suffer. When we know enough, whether gaining or losing, the mind remains at ease. Someone asked, how not to suffer when we lose what we cherish? The answer is simple. do not regard what we have as forever. When we understand impermanence, we love more completely, live more deeply, and suffer less at parting. Everything that comes has its causes, and everything that goes has its reason. Nothing is truly lost. It merely transforms into another form. When someone praises us, know it is a fortunate condition. But do not let praise make us arrogant. When someone criticizes us, know that it is also a condition, a mirror for self-reflection. One who understands the way does not run from praise or blame, but stands still amidst them, smiling. For they know praise and blame are two sides of the same coin. Flip as they may, it is still the same. So it is with gain and loss. Each gain tests the heart, whether we still keep humility. Each loss tests the mind, whether we still keep inner peace. What we gain outside is not as important as what we gain within. If we gain money and fame but lose our peace, that gain is nothing but a burden. Some spend their whole life seeking happiness, only to drift further from it. They think happiness lies somewhere ahead, in more money, higher status, or an ideal lover. Yet when they arrive, they feel empty, because happiness is not in what we have, but in how we live this present moment. The Buddha taught, "Live like the lotus, rising from the mud without being stained." Life has praise and blame, gain and loss. That is natural. Practitioners need not avoid them. They simply do not let the mind be dyed. Like the lotus, surrounded by mud, yet petals remain white and fragrance pure, for its roots are in water, but its direction is toward the sky. Keeping the mind steady does not mean having no emotions, but knowing emotions are coming and going without identifying with them. When sad, know you are sad. When happy, know you are happy. When gaining, know you are gaining. When losing, know you are losing. That single word, know, is awakening. The one who knows is the one who is awake. And when awake, we are no longer swept into the whirlpool of gain and loss. There is a story in the scriptures. Someone asked the Buddha, "Do you ever get angry?" The Buddha smiled and said, "I too have had anger, but I knew I was angry." That knowing makes anger dissolve like mist. Keeping the mind steady is the same. Not never wavering, but wavering in awareness. In today's society where everything changes by the hour, keeping a steady mind is a kind of courage. People are easily swept into comparisons of talent, wealth, and status. But the wise do not compare. They understand each person has their own path, their own causes, and karma. Comparing only makes the mind more restless. When we stop comparing, we begin to feel enough. Sometimes what tires us is not life's weight, but how we carry it. The same stone is light to one who sets it down and heavy to one who clings. Life need not be perfect. It only asks that we live fully. Instead of wanting everything to go our way, learn to be peaceful even with what goes against our way. When meeting unkind people, do not rush to resent. Perhaps they are our lesson. When facing misfortune, do not rush to sorrow. Perhaps old karma is being resolved. When encountering success, do not become conceited. Perhaps it is only a brief pause on a long road. Everything is changing. Only a steady mind does not change. Keeping the mind steady is not done in a day. It is cultivated little by little. Start small. When someone speaks harshly, instead of reacting, breathe in deeply. When something is lost, instead of blaming life, breathe out and say, "This too shall pass." Each breath is a return to ourselves, and each return turns the Dharma in motion within us one more round, sanding down the rough edges of greed, anger, and delusion. Tonight, if something still shakes your heart, let the breath be your companion. Inhale, know you are inhaling. Exhale, know you are exhaling. Let praise and blame, gain and loss be carried away by the wind. As for us, we stay with the breath and the small light within. That light is awareness. the Buddha nature present in you. Then you will see that keeping a steady mind is not difficult if we stop seeking peace outside. True peace is not in circumstances, but in perception. When the mind is at ease, the wind becomes music, the rain becomes a verse of meditation. When the mind is chaotic, even in a quiet place, we hear noise. Thus, keeping the mind steady is keeping a clear view, so that though life changes, our heart remains gentle like a still lake under the moonlight. Then you will see that true happiness is simple: to live fully, without needing to surpass anyone, without needing to prove anything. Just do what is right. Love what is worthy of love. Let go of what should be let go, and smile at what is. And that is enough for a human life. A life that knows how to live, to love, to let go, and to be at peace. When the mind is steady, life suffers less. When the mind is bright, the path naturally opens. The Dharma in motion within you keeps turning, light, slow, yet steady, carrying you through praise and blame, gain and loss, like clouds passing over mountains, like waves upon the shore, coming and going without leaving a trace. Among all the wholesome energies we can cultivate, understanding and love are the most wondrous. The Buddha taught, understanding is the foundation of love, and love is the fruit of understanding. Without understanding, love is only an emotion. With deep understanding, love becomes vast and unconditional. And that very love is what transforms suffering, ours and others. In life today, people love by emotion, but rarely by wisdom. We love someone when they make us happy, but when they make us sad, that love easily fades. We love our children, yet sometimes force them to live by our expectations. We love our partner, yet want them to understand, to change, to make us happy. Thus, though called love, it is full of want, and want walks hand in hand with suffering. The Buddha taught, without understanding, love easily becomes a chain. Indeed, when we do not understand someone, we may wound them despite good intentions. A person in pain needs listening, yet we offer advice. A person who is weak needs quiet, yet we try to help by talking too much. We think we love, but it is loving the way we think, not the way they need. Understanding is looking deeply into the roots of suffering. When we truly understand, anger dissolves, blame ends, and love arises. Seeing someone's hot temper, we know they are afraid. Hearing harsh words, we know there is pain inside. Witnessing indifference, we understand they have tasted disappointment. That understanding keeps us from reacting, leaving only a quiet smile. From there, compassion begins. Someone asked, "How can I cultivate compassion?" The Buddha taught, begin by understanding your own suffering. When we understand our own pain, we stop blaming others for theirs. Those who have never known suffering find it hard to empathize. But when we have fallen, cried, and lost our way, we begin to understand that everyone is fighting a silent battle within. And once we understand, compassion naturally arises. Compassion is not pity. It is the ability to see the humanity in every situation, to see no one as an enemy, only as someone who suffers and needs understanding. When compassion fills the heart, our words become gentle, our gaze warm, our actions soft. Those near us feel at peace, for compassion is not just a thought, it is an energy that radiates outward and touches others. To nurture compassion, we must first learn not to let others' suffering become our own. A compassionate person does not carry the world's burdens. They shine like a lamp. When the mind is calm, our energy naturally soothes those around us. Like a clear pond, simply being there cools the entire forest. In our busy lives, we easily become hardened. Work makes us rush, success makes us forget, pain makes us close our hearts. But the human heart was born soft. When it closes, we lose not only the ability to love, but also the ability to feel. Compassion is a return to that natural softness, where we can love and ache, yet not be swept away by pain. Compassion does not mean allowing others to hurt us endlessly. On the contrary, true compassion sets boundaries with wisdom. To love does not mean to endure everything. To love is to understand that sometimes walking away is what spares both sides from suffering. Like a doctor who must cut away an infected wound, that is healing, not cruelty. The Buddha taught, love others, but do not forget to love yourself. For if our heart shuts down from exhaustion, we can love no one. True compassion begins with caring for ourselves, eating mindfully, sleeping in gratitude, speaking with awareness, working with calm. When our own being radiates peace, we are spreading compassion into the world without a single word. Sometimes, compassion is as simple as being silent at the right time. When someone is suffering, they may not be ready for advice. When someone is angry, every word of reason cuts like a blade. In such moments, just be still, breathe softly, and be present with the energy of understanding. Sometimes, a look of empathy is more powerful than 1,000 words. To love does not always mean to act. It means to be fully present. When we sit beside someone and truly listen, without judgment, without rushing to fix, we are already practicing compassion. One who feels understood feels lighter. One who feels loved begins to heal, because all of us simply wish to be seen, accepted, and understood. In families, when partners listen with understanding, conflicts dissolve. At work, when colleagues can stand in each other's shoes, contention fades. In society, if everyone looked at one another with compassionate eyes, the world would hurt far less. Compassion is not something grand. It lives in small things. A smile to a server, a word of thanks, forgiving a small mistake, or not judging too quickly. Each small act is a flower blooming in the garden of the heart, helping to calm the whole world. Sometimes we think we cannot change the world, but just by changing how we see, the world around us changes. When we look with anger, everyone seems wrong. When we look with love, we see everyone simply trying to live their own way. Then the heart expands, and suffering fades like morning mist under the sun. Tonight, before sleep, place your hand over your heart and feel its rhythm. Each beat is a reminder you are still alive, still capable of love. No matter how much life has hurt you, do not let this heart grow cold. Keep it warm with a little understanding, a little love, a little stillness. And tomorrow morning, as you step out, let compassion lead the way. When you see someone angry, do not react. Just breathe. When you see someone in pain, do not turn away. Look at them kindly. When faced with something unpleasant, do not complain. Think, they too are learning to live just like me. Then each day becomes softer, brighter, and filled with love. For when compassion is present, suffering is no longer a burden, but an opportunity to understand more deeply. When compassion is present, there is no need to seek peace. Compassion itself is peace. Then the Dharma. In motion within you turns once more, gently, brightly, warmly, carrying you through life's joys and sorrows with a serene smile. In this life, perhaps nothing is heavier than resentment. It is like a stone hidden in the heart. The more we try to forget, the heavier it feels. Some carry resentment for years, even after the other person has long gone. Some still ache over a word spoken long ago. Some appear calm on the outside, yet inside flows a restless river. They do not realize that forgiveness is not for others. It is for ourselves. The Buddha taught, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent to throw it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned first. Each time we recall another's wrongdoing, we reignite the flame within. Each time we dwell on the past, refusing to let go, we imprison ourselves in it. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is unclenching the hand that grips suffering. Some say, "I want to forgive, but I can't." Not because they lack kindness, but because they haven't truly understood. When understanding arises, forgiveness comes naturally, without effort. Seeing the roots of an action, we cease to be angry. Those who hurt us are themselves in pain. Those who speak harshly do so from inner turmoil. They lack mindfulness, so afflictions control them. Seeing this clearly, anger dissolves, compassion arises. Forgiveness does not mean allowing others to keep hurting us. It means setting boundaries without hatred. We can keep distance, we can be silent, yet still hold understanding in our heart. That person is suffering, just like me. Such a heart is truly free. The Buddha taught, if hatred could end hatred, the world would have been at peace long ago. Only love and forgiveness can dissolve hatred. Hatred is like two flames burning each other until both are consumed. When we choose forgiveness, we extinguish the fire within. The other may not have changed, but we are free. Forgiveness is also a way of letting go of the ego. When we are angry, it is because we think we are right. We were wronged. We must be vindicated. But looking deeper, we see that everyone acts according to the level of understanding they have at that moment. At that time, they did not see clearly, so they acted so. If we were in their place, with their fears, their conditions, their views, we might have done the same. And in that realization, the heart softens. Forgiveness is not achieved in a day or two. Sometimes we must pass through many long nights to learn to release. Some wounds run deep and need time to fade. But what matters is that we choose the path of release, to step out of the darkness, slowly, one breath at a time. Each time we pause to breathe deeply and recognize we are still alive, we move closer to freedom. Forgiveness is also an act of wisdom. The wise do not seek revenge, for they know karma will ripen on its own. We need not retaliate. The law of cause and effect forgets no one. Those who sow suffering will reap suffering. Those who plant kindness will harvest peace. Knowing this, we need not strike back. We only need to stop. Stop sowing new seeds of pain for ourselves. In modern life, people carry many wounds, some inflicted by others, some self-inflicted, because we cannot forgive ourselves. We blame ourselves for past mistakes, for things undone, for chances lost. But if we cannot forgive ourselves, how can we ever be truly at peace? Remember, the earlier self within us did the best they could. They may have been wrong, they may have been weak, but they tried within the limits of their understanding then. Now that we are different, more understanding, let us love them, the us of the past, as we would love a frightened child. Place a hand on your chest and whisper, "It's okay. We have come through." That sentence can dissolve years of torment. Forgiving yourself is not covering up. It is allowing yourself to learn and grow. When we dare to face our mistakes without running away, we have walked half the path to liberation. When we dare to hold our wounds instead of hating them, they will heal on their own. For the nature of the mind is luminous. Only the cloud of resentment covers it, so we forget that light. There is a simple practice. Each night before sleep, recall one thing that hurt you or one person you still resent. Breathe in, acknowledge that pain. Breathe out, silently say, "I forgive you, and I also forgive myself." Do not try to believe it immediately. Just practice regularly. One day, those words will become true in your heart. Then you will feel a strange lightness, as if you had set down a burden carried for too long. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but frees us from it. It helps us stop viewing life with suspicion, stop building defensive walls, stop living with old wounds. When we forgive, we begin to trust again, in people, in life, and in ourselves. Sometimes forgiveness needs no words. We simply no longer think ill of that person, no longer wish them harm, no longer feel a stab in the heart when remembering. When the heart is truly at ease, that is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not weakness, but the strength of one who understands impermanence, one who knows that holding on to hatred only withers the heart, while letting go allows it to bloom. Tonight, if someone arises in your mind, someone who once hurt you or your very self, smile gently. Let the breath embrace that image like a breeze passing over a lake. Do not force forgetting. Do not force letting go. Just breathe and let it fade. One day when you remember, there will be no more pain, only peace. And then you will deeply understand the Buddha's words. Hatred never ceases by hatred. Only by love does hatred cease. This is an eternal law. Because in the end, what we need is not victory, but peace. Forgiveness is the path that leads us back to that peace, where there is no hatred, no fear, only a heart light as cloud and a smile that knows how to be gentle. At that time, Dharma in motion within your heart still turns, slowly yet steadily, each revolution shedding a little more resentment, a little more sorrow. And then, in the stillness of the night, you will hear the tenderest sound in the world, the quiet breath of peace within your own heart. There are phases in life when it feels as if everything is against us. Every door closes, every effort dissolves, and every hope seems to go out. Then we want to give up or ask why life is so unfair. But with awakened eyes we see, suffering does not come to destroy us, but to awaken us. The Buddha taught, suffering is a great teacher. Without suffering, we cannot understand others, cannot develop wisdom, cannot know how to love. Suffering is a mirror that shows us ourselves. In favorable conditions, we easily forget. In adversity, we truly see who we are. Precisely in moments when we seem to collapse, we touch the true strength of the mind. Many fear suffering and run from it, but running does not make it disappear. Like a shadow, the more we flee, the more it follows. Only when we stop and switch on the light of awareness does darkness fade. So it is with suffering. It can be transformed only when we dare to look straight at it. When we stop, breathe, and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Suffering immediately becomes a teacher. Someone once said, suffering is the gateway to enlightenment. Indeed, only when touching the depths of suffering do we see that beyond letting go, there is no other way. When we stop resisting, suffering dissolves. For suffering does not arise from circumstances, but from the resistance in our mind. When we refuse to accept what is, we begin to suffer. When we expect everything to be different, we suffer. When we cling to what is gone, we suffer. But if we look again, everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to. A tree cannot bloom without winter. People are the same. Only by passing through suffering do we truly mature. There are wounds that make us cry, yet those very wounds teach us empathy. There are failures that cast us into despair, yet they teach humility. There are people whose leaving hurts us, yet they teach the lesson of letting go. With awakened eyes, we see that every adversity carries the seed of wisdom within it. The Buddha taught, as the lotus blooms in the mud, so does wisdom bloom from suffering. No one wishes for suffering, but when it comes, the practitioner does not complain or blame. They observe and learn. They understand that each pain is a chance to shed another layer of ignorance. When we do not avoid and do not push away, we begin to transform. Transformation does not mean making suffering vanish, but changing how we see it. When the mind is clear, any circumstance becomes a teacher. Someone who curses us may help us see our anger. Someone who betrays us may show us we once expected too much. An event that brings loss may deepen our understanding of impermanence. Things do not come to punish us, but to guide us back home. If at times you feel too tired, Remember that even the Buddha underwent countless sufferings. He left the palace, crossed deep forests, faced illness, hunger, and solitude to find the way to end suffering. Without those days, how could there be today's light? Our pain today, seen with the Buddha's heart, is also a path back to awakening. When suffering arrives, do not ask, "Why me?" but ask, "What is this suffering trying to tell me?" Perhaps it is teaching us to pause, to care for body and mind, to live more truthfully. Perhaps it is reminding us to let go of something outworn. When we hear that message, suffering is no longer an enemy, but a guide. A wise person does not try to eliminate suffering, but turns it into the energy of awareness. They use failure to understand effort more deeply. They use hurt to learn unconditional love. They use loss to learn impermanence. Gradually, they feel grateful for suffering, for thanks to it, they learn to slow down, to love more, to listen more. Suffering, seen with a deluded mind, is a burden. Seen with an awakened mind, it is a gift. It helps us let go of the false to see the true. When what we cling to falls away, we discover the freedom already within us. When everything we lean on crumbles, we return to the firmest refuge, a peaceful mind. Sometimes just a small shift in perception changes our whole inner world. When we stop blaming and resenting, suffering lightens. When we understand that suffering is a natural part of the path, we no longer fear it. We know it will pass, like the rain that eventually stops. After rain, leaves are clean and the sky is clear. Let suffering teach us humility. Humility to see we are not the center of the universe, that everyone has their own pain. Humility to listen instead of judge. Humility to relearn simple living. And thanks to suffering, we cherish ordinary things more. A simple meal, a friend, a quiet afternoon. Tonight, if your heart still feels heavy, don't try to push it away. Sit quietly and listen. Maybe you're tired, hurt, or sad. That's okay. Let those feelings have the right to exist. Then breathe. Inhale, knowing you are suffering. Exhale, knowing you are still here. That knowing itself is the light. That light will slowly dissolve the darkness of pain. And when you look back, you'll realize no suffering is meaningless. Every tear that falls nourishes the soil of the heart. Every fall teaches you how to stand again with steadiness. Every loss teaches gratitude for what remains. Bit by bit, suffering turns into wisdom, and tears turn into flowers. The Buddha taught, "From mud blooms the lotus. From suffering arises wisdom." Practitioners do not flee from mud, they learn to bloom in it. Likewise, we need not seek a life without suffering. We only need to learn not to suffer within suffering. When the mind is clear, suffering is the teacher. When the mind is clouded, suffering is the punishment. And when the night passes, you will see dawn rise within, a dawn not born from sunlight, but from deep awakening. Ah, so it is. In this life, all we need is understanding, compassion, and release. Then Dharma, in motion within your heart, turns once more, light yet steady, slow yet deep, carrying you through ordinary days with a heart no longer afraid of pain, knowing that suffering, too, is part of the path to peace. There is something strange about life. The more we have, the more we feel we lack. The more we chase, the more exhausted we become. The tighter we hold, the more we fear losing. Because true happiness does not lie in what we possess, but in the mind that knows contentment. The Buddha taught, "The one who knows contentment, even lying on the ground, feels peace. The one who knows not enough, even in heaven, is not satisfied." We often think that if we can just achieve something, wealth, fame, love, then we'll be happy. Yet when we do, emptiness follows, and we seek the next thing to fill it. And so life becomes a race with no finish line. We chase happiness in the future, forgetting it only exists in the present. Some spend their whole life busy, working in the morning, worrying at night, always chasing a someday. Someday when I have money, I'll rest. Someday when the children grow up, I'll relax. Someday when I'm free, I'll be happy. But when that someday arrives, another someday takes its place. That endless cycle never stops, for we've grown used to placing happiness ahead, not here. Happiness isn't far. It's in a steaming cup of tea, in the soft breeze through a window, in a loved one's smile, in your own peaceful breath. But because the mind is restless, we don't see it. Like a thirsty person standing in a river, still crying for water, simply because they haven't bowed to drink. The Buddha taught, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. When we walk mindfully, each step is already peace. When we breathe with awareness, each breath is already happiness. We need not go anywhere or gain anything, only be fully present in this very moment. The one who knows enough does not compare. When we stop comparing, the heart immediately lightens. For the root of unrest is comparison. We compare ourselves with others, today with yesterday, what we have with what others have. Yet comparison is a game we can never win. There will always be someone better, someone worse. Compare downward and we feel lucky. Compare upward and we feel lacking. And so the mind keeps wavering. The one who knows enough is not without ambition, but knows when to stop. They understand that some things slip away the tighter we hold. They are grateful for what they have and make full use of it. A simple meal filled with love is worth more than a feast without joy. A small home full of laughter is more precious than a lonely castle. In modern life, we're caught in the wheel of more than yesterday, more than others, more than ourselves. But perhaps what we need is not more, but enough. Enough to not worry, enough to not lack, enough to have time to watch the sunrise, listen to music, or smile at a stranger. Knowing enough is not giving up, it is a conscious choice. When the mind knows enough, life naturally opens wide. There is no more competition, no more resentment. Every small thing becomes precious. A kind word, a cup of tea, a rainy afternoon, all can be gifts. But when we don't know enough, even having everything feels empty. For when lack is in the heart, nothing outside can fill it. True happiness is so simple it surprises us. It needs no calculation, no purchase, no proof, only a peaceful mind. But to have that peace, we must learn to stop. Stop amid life's gusts and listen to ourselves. A friend once said, I used to exhaust myself chasing money for my family. When I finally had it, I feared losing it and kept working harder. One day, seeing my child smile, I suddenly realized what I'd been searching for was right in front of me. That simple statement strikes deep, because truly, we do not lack the conditions for happiness. We only lack awareness of them. The Buddha taught, contentment brings constant joy. One who knows contentment is happy even in poverty. One who does not suffers even in wealth. Knowing contentment does not stop us from growing. It allows us to grow peacefully. For when we know enough, we work not from fear, but from love. We strive not to prove, but to contribute. We live not to surpass others, but to become whole within ourselves. Sometimes we must learn to be grateful for ordinary things, because someone out there is praying for a life as ordinary as ours. Someone lying on a hospital bed wishes only to walk outside. Someone who has lost a loved one longs to hear the word mother again. When we realize this, the heart softens and gratitude deepens with every breath. Each morning, if we can still smile, see sunlight and hear birdsong, that is happiness already. Each night, if we can close our eyes without worry, that is peace. True happiness is never far away. It simply asks that we stop and notice. When the mind knows contentment, we see that life is never lacking. Everything arrives in its right time. Some people come to teach us love, others to teach us letting go. Joy arrives to help us cherish. Sorrow comes to help us understand. When we live like this, each day is a lesson, each breath a gift. Someone once asked, "How can we feel content in a world that never stops demanding?" The Buddha replied, "Return to your breath. For when we breathe consciously, the mind returns to the present, and the present is never lacking. In this very moment, we are alive, we are hearing, we are feeling. Just that is enough." Tonight, as you close your eyes, try whispering, "Thank you for today. Thank you for the simple things I still have." That small sentence, if spoken from the heart, can dissolve countless worries. For gratitude is the root of contentment, and contentment is the root of happiness. Let tonight's sleep be a quiet prayer of thanks. Thanks for a body still healthy, for loved ones still safe, for a breath still steady, for life still giving us one more day. When the heart knows enough, it no longer chases the future or clings to the past. The mind rests in this moment, like a still lake reflecting the sky. And when the mind is still, happiness appears, not loud, not showy, but warm and gentle, like moonlight on water, quiet, yet full of light. That is the true happiness the Buddha pointed to, the happiness of one who knows how to stop, to be content, and to live fully in the present. Within each of us lies a deep tendency to control. We want to control our emotions, others, the future, even the uncontrollable. But the more we try to grasp, the more we tire. Life was not born for us to control, but for us to learn how to flow with it. The Buddha taught, "All phenomena are impermanent." When you understand impermanence, the mind naturally lets go. Impermanence means nothing remains the same. Not this body, not these feelings, not these people, not the things we try to hold. To know this yet still want everything to stay still is like trying to stop the wind or hold back the clouds. It is impossible, and from that impossibility, suffering arises. We suffer because we want others to understand us, but no one can ever fully understand another. We suffer because we want those we love to stay, but they too are bound by causes, karma, and their own paths. We suffer because we want life to unfold according to our plans, but life follows more than our designs. Letting go of control is not giving up or neglecting. It is learning to trust the flow of causes and conditions. We still make effort, but without forcing outcomes. We still love, but without binding. We still live fully, but without insisting that life obey us. Then, we no longer live from fear, but from serenity. Like a rower on a river, if they fight the current, their arms grow weary. But if they flow with it, guiding the oar in rhythm, they go farther with ease. Life is the same, not to be conquered, but harmonized with. A true practitioner does not try to control impermanence, but lives in harmony with it. They understand that within every loss lies a seed of renewal. Within every ending, a new beginning. The death of a leaf nourishes the earth. The flame of a candle, once gone, still leaves its light. Impermanence is not to be feared, only unlived moments are. Letting go of control is an art of faith, faith in karma, in causes and conditions, in the natural order of things. When we have sown good seeds, there is no need to worry. Even if flowers have not bloomed today, they will tomorrow. When we live with goodness, even in adversity, we are at peace, knowing that nothing comes to harm us, only to teach us. Someone once asked, "How do I know when to let go and when to hold on?" The answer lies in inner listening. If something has made you restless for too long, perhaps it's time to let go. If a relationship brings only pain to both sides, perhaps it's time to stop. If an ambition keeps you sleepless, ask yourself, "Do I really need this?" When the mind is quiet, The answer comes. The Buddha said, "Live like water. Water does not contend, yet it goes everywhere. When it meets rock, it flows around. When it meets a cliff, it cascades down. When it meets sunlight, it rises as vapor to return as rain. Water always follows its way, and so it never breaks. One who lives in accord with impermanence is like that, not rigid, not forced, not clinging. They move through life like water, gentle yet strong, still yet deep." In our modern world, we are obsessed with control of time, work, social image, reputation, identity. But the more we hold, the less freedom we have. For freedom does not come from possessing everything, but from not being bound by anything. Letting go of control is also letting go of the I, the self that wants everything its own way. The stronger the I, the greater the suffering. For the I wants to be right, to win, to be recognized, to be unhurt. But life cannot always serve the I. When we see this, we argue less, compare less, and suffer less. Someone once said, "When I stopped trying to change others, I finally began to live." That simple truth holds great wisdom, because most of our suffering does not come from what happens, but from wanting it to be otherwise. When we accept others as they are and life as it is, we step into true freedom. Letting go of control does not make us weak, it makes us strong. For only when we stop fighting life's flow do we have the energy to move with it. When we no longer fear change, we can finally see the world with calm eyes. And then we realize change is not a threat, but an invitation to learn, to grow, and to understand ourselves more deeply. Letting go is also an act of courage. Only those who dare to face the truth of impermanence can truly let go. Those who fear loss, fear loneliness, fear change, are those who have not yet trusted enough. But when we trust that everything arises from causes and conditions, we no longer need to control. We only need to live wholeheartedly in each moment. Tonight, try looking at what you are still clinging to. Is there something you worry too much about? Something you're afraid to lose? Is there someone you keep holding on to even though they wish to leave? Is there a plan you keep forcing though life resists? Take a deep breath, then exhale softly and whisper, "If it is meant to be, it will stay. If not, it will go." In that single thought, half the weight is gone. You will see that when you release control, everything becomes more natural. Those who love you stay because they are not bound. Work flows better because there is no strain. The body grows healthier because stress fades. The mind becomes peaceful because it no longer clings to must be this way, must be that way. Everything returns to its proper place once we stop trying to command it. The Buddha taught, letting go is the shortest path to freedom, for within letting go is trust. Within trust is peace. Within peace is happiness. When we know how to let go, life naturally grows lighter. When we know how to flow, the heart opens wide. And when we live like water, adaptable, unobstructed, we understand what true peace is. As night falls, let your breath guide you home to yourself. Set aside all worries, plans, and desires. There is only breath, only this moment. No need to control anything, for all is already unfolding as it should. Let life breathe, let it flow, and simply smile, like one sitting quietly by the riverbank, watching the water glide beneath the moonlight. Dharma in motion within your heart turns again, slowly, steadily, in harmony with the rhythm of impermanence. No need to grasp, no need to resist. Only breathe, observe, release, and remember. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. When we learn to let go, the heart begins to open. But to truly dwell in peace, we must learn the art of mindful living. Living in awareness, in wakefulness, in each unfolding moment. Mindfulness is not something lofty, not a philosophy apart from daily life. It is the simple act of being fully present with what is. The Buddha taught, when walking, know that you are walking. When sitting, know that you are sitting. When breathing, know that you are breathing. This may sound simple, but it is the doorway to freedom. Because most of the time, we are not truly living. We walk while thinking of our destination. We eat while thinking of work. We sit while our mind drifts to the past or worries for the future. The mind wanders, only the body is here, and so we lose the present. Mindfulness is calling the mind home to the body. It is pausing to see that we are breathing, living, feeling. When we are truly present, even a cup of tea becomes a meditation. Warmth touches the hand, fragrance rises to the nose, flavor brushes the tongue. Each sensation reveals the miracle of life. But if the mind is absent, even among blooming flowers we see no beauty. Someone once asked, "How can I stay mindful amid a busy life?" The Buddha taught, begin with the breath. The breath is the bridge between body and mind. When we breathe with awareness, we return home. Inhale, know you are inhaling. Exhale, know you are exhaling. No need to change, only to know. Each breath is like a cool stream washing away the dust of worry. Even in work, we can practice mindfulness. Typing, know that you are typing. Washing dishes, know that you are washing. Listening to someone, know that you are listening. Do not rush to respond or judge. Just listen fully. That presence is the greatest gift we can offer another. For when someone is truly heard, they feel loved. Mindful living does not mean moving slowly. It means moving in rhythm with the present. Not faster, not slower, not forcing, not neglecting. Like walking in the rain, simply knowing it is raining. Not running, not complaining, just feeling each drop touch the skin. When the mind is mindful, everything becomes sacred, even the smallest things. Mindfulness is also the way to be free from past and future. The past is gone, the future has not come. Only the present is real. Yet people live in, if only. If only I had done differently. If only tomorrow will be better. Those if-onlys pull us away from now and drain our energy. When we return to the present, fear dissolves, for there is no past to regret, no future to dread, only this moment to live. Mindfulness is also the art of seeing our own mind. When angry, know you are angry. When sad, know you are sad. When joyful, know you are joyful. Just know, no need to fight, no need to hide. When the light of awareness shines, the darkness of affliction fades. When we know we are angry, anger cannot control us. When we know we are sad, sadness softens. Some say, "I can't meditate, my mind is too restless." But knowing your mind is restless, that itself is meditation. No meditator ever sits with a calm mind at once. The point is not to make the mind still, but to see clearly that it is not still, and not chase after it. Like standing on the riverbank, watching the current, no need to block it, just watch. Mindfulness is the foundation of peace. When we live mindfully, every action carries awareness. We eat mindfully, so the body stays healthy. We speak mindfully, so words do not wound. We listen mindfully, so we understand. When every act is lit by awareness, life becomes light as dew. Mindfulness needs no special place or time. We can practice anywhere, washing our hands, driving, holding a child. Just know you are here. A touch, a breath, a smile, all can be doors back to the present. When the mind returns, the world changes. Mindfulness helps us see that every moment is worth living. We need not wait for special days or long for happiness someday. Right now, with this breath, this light, this sound, happiness is already here. When we are fully present, we no longer seek, we only feel grateful. There is a simple meditation the Buddha often taught. Breathing in, I know I am alive. Breathing out, I smile. This reflection helps us stop. As long as we can breathe and smile, we still have the chance to love, to change, to live more fully today. Tonight you can practice mindfulness with your breath. Inhale slowly. Feel the cool air entering the nose. Exhale deeply. Feel the chest lighten. Inhale, know you are inhaling. Exhale, smile. Do not try to calm the mind, just know how it is. If thoughts arise, let them drift by like clouds across the sky, not clinging, not chasing. Gradually, you will sense a tiny stillness between two breaths. That stillness is the refuge of peace. There is no worry, no haste, only the pure presence of life itself. When the mind abides in the present, you will see that peace needs no journey. It has always been here. And when you truly live in mindfulness, Dharma, in motion within your heart, turns more slowly, more steadily, more radiant. Each breath, each step, becomes a revolution of awakening. Life is no longer a race to run, but a stream to feel. Gently, patiently, in awareness, in serenity, in the quiet smile of the heart. When we live mindfully, our steps and breaths are peaceful. Yet there is another vital part of life: speech. For words are the echoes of the heart. When the heart is restless, words wound. When the heart is calm, words heal. The Buddha taught, speech can bring happiness or cause suffering, depending on the intention behind it. Sometimes just a gentle sentence can comfort someone, yet a single careless word can weigh on them for a lifetime. Words are like the wind. Once released, we cannot take them back. Therefore, practitioners learn to speak mindfully, which means speaking from understanding and love, speaking to help, not to win. Before speaking, we pause for a moment and ask ourselves, is this necessary to say? Will saying it be beneficial? How can I say it so the listener does not suffer? Those 3 seconds of pause are precious. They can preserve a relationship, a peaceful day, even a lifetime of peace. For words are arrows. If shot with anger, they not only hurt others, but also inflame our own hearts. The Buddha taught, speak words that are true, harmonious, gentle, and beneficial. Truthful to nurture trust. Harmonious to preserve kinship. Gentle to avoid harm. Beneficial to bring good. When our words embody these 4 qualities, that is right speech, one of the Eightfold Path. Mindful speech does not mean speaking little, but speaking with a clear heart. Sometimes silence is golden, but sometimes a timely word can relieve suffering. Some people need only to hear, I understand you, to burst into tears, because for years no one has ever understood them. Some need only to hear, it's okay, to gather the faith to stand up again. Therefore, speaking mindfully is speaking with compassion. It is speaking to uplift, not to belittle. It is speaking to illuminate, not to judge. Every word is a seed planted in someone's heart. Every seed sprouts. Seeds of love bloom. Seeds of anger grow thorns. The wise always choose which seeds they sow. Not only speaking, but listening is also a form of practice. The Buddha taught, those who listen with a compassionate heart can relieve the suffering of countless beings. For most suffering in life is not due to a lack of advice, but a lack of understanding. Everyone wants to be heard, acknowledged, and empathized with. Mindful listening is to listen without judgment, without interrupting, without preparing a reply in advance. Just listen, just be there. When we truly listen, we give the other person a chance to release their pain, and at the same time help ourselves learn patience and the ability to put ourselves in another's place. When listening to someone speak of their suffering, do not rush to advise. Let them finish. Sometimes what they need is not a solution, but a safe space to be themselves. When they sense that we are listening with our whole heart, their suffering is already half relieved. Listening is an invisible gift with a healing power greater than any words. Listening also helps us understand ourselves more deeply. When we listen to others with a calm heart, we see our own reactions, where we are still hot-tempered, still clinging, still competitive. The speaker helps reflect our mind. Thanks to them, we recognize our dark corners and have a chance to transform. Thus, every act of listening is also a practice. In modern life, we listen to so much: news, social media, noisy sounds, yet rarely truly listen. Our ears are open, but our hearts are closed. Therefore, we hear without understanding, speak without touching each other's hearts. Mindfulness helps reopen the ears of the heart, to listen not only with the ears but with love and presence. There are people we love but do not understand. There are people who understand us but no longer love us. Between understanding and love, understanding always comes first. Because when we understand, love naturally arises. And to understand, we must listen. Without listening, there is no understanding. Without understanding, there is no love. Mindful speaking and mindful listening are the two arms of compassion. At work, when we speak mindfully, the atmosphere naturally lightens. When we know how to listen, conflicts gradually dissolve. In the family, if parents know how to listen to children, and children know how to listen to parents, understanding will blossom. In society, if everyone practices measured speech and sincere listening, this world will be far less wounded. The Buddha once taught a practice called deep listening and loving speech. This is not theory, but a concrete path to maintain peace in communication. When we listen deeply, we help the other release suffering. When we speak lovingly, we sow seeds of peace. And when both meet, the energies of understanding and love become the greatest healing force. This practice begins with ourselves. Listen to yourself. Listen to your own breath. Listen to your desires. Listen to the wounds that have not yet healed. When we understand ourselves, we can understand others. When we speak to ourselves with compassion, "It's okay, I am still learning how to live." We are sowing the first seed of loving speech. Tonight, before sleep, take a deep breath and think of someone you once resented. Instead of blaming, try sending them a sentence in your heart. "I understand you have suffered, and so have I. May you be at peace." They need not know. As long as those words arise in your heart, the energy of understanding and love has begun to spread. Tomorrow, when speaking with someone, try pausing briefly before you speak and listen carefully when they respond. You will see that with just that, the relationship becomes lighter, easier, and your own heart more at peace. Because when we speak and listen mindfully, not only is the other person healed, we ourselves are also being healed. And thus, every word we speak, every sentence we listen to, becomes a new revolution of the Dharma in motion within. Light, soft, round, and full of love. When we speak with understanding and listen with compassion, the world around us gradually becomes peaceful. For peace does not begin in distant mountains, but in a gentle word, a fully present listening, and a heart that knows how to love. Modern life forces people to face something very subtle, invisible noise. Not only the sound of traffic, the city's hum, but also torrents of information, conversations, messages, endless worries and desires. Amid a world in constant motion, keeping our mind still becomes an art. The Buddha taught, "The mind is like a lake. When the lake is still, the moon appears." So it is with the human mind. When the heart is agitated, we cannot see life's truth, cannot hear our own voice. Only when the mind is calm does everything become clear. But how to be calm when life never stops clamoring and our mind is always busy? Keeping the mind still does not mean avoiding life, not fleeing the city to hide in the forest. Keeping still means living amid noise without being disturbed, living in the marketplace without losing ourselves. It is walking among people while the mind is like one in meditation, able to hear without being pulled, to see without clinging, to feel while preserving a bright space within. To do so, the first thing is to know how to stop. Stopping is not weakness, it is an act of wisdom. We stop to look back at ourselves, to breathe, to listen to where our mind is. Stopping is the only thing that keeps us from being swept away by life's current. When we know how to stop, the world around us stops with us. Remember, no one forces us to run so fast. No one forces us to react immediately. When anger comes, we have the right to pause. When a message arrives, we have the right to read it later. When provoked, we have the right not to respond. With just one slow breath, we are different. For a mindful breath can change an entire day of living. One who knows how to stop also knows how to live slowly. Slow does not mean lazy. It means living in the rhythm of awareness. When eating, truly know you are eating. When listening to music, truly know you are listening. When speaking with someone, truly be present. Slowness helps us taste life, the flavor of joy, of presence, of peace. Those who live slowly do not fear being left behind. They know that what belongs to them will come at the right time. The hurried may achieve much, yet lose the most important thing, themselves. When we live in haste, every moment passes like dust. When we live slowly, each second becomes a blooming flower. Keeping a calm mind also means letting go of what is unnecessary. We don't need to know every piece of news, reply to every message, or comment on every matter. The world can be noisy, but our hearts have the right to choose peace. Imagine your mind as a room. If everyone is allowed to walk in, argue, and clutter it, how could there be space to sit quietly? Sometimes stillness does not come from seeking a quiet place, but from keeping an open space within. Amid sounds, we can still hear our breath. Amid crowds, we can still feel our steps. Amid work, we can still pause for a few seconds to smile. That stillness lies within us. No one can take it away. The Buddha taught, "One whose mind is peaceful is free amid all bonds." When the mind is still, we are no longer pulled by meaningless things. Praise does not make us proud. Criticism does not make us sad. The weather changes, people change, events change. Yet we remain the same, like a lake reflecting the sky, holding nothing, chasing nothing, only reflecting. But to maintain a calm mind, we must care for body and mind properly. When the body is tired, the mind cannot be still. When the mind is restless, the body becomes ill. So give yourself moments of stillness each day. 10 minutes of quiet in the morning, 5 minutes of breathing before sleep, or a few seconds during work to look at the sky. Those small pauses are medicine that nourishes serenity. Do not fear solitude, for stillness is not loneliness. In stillness, we begin to hear life's whispers, the breeze brushing leaves, the beat of our heart, the miraculous sound of life flowing. Then we feel not empty, but full of life, peace, and gratitude. When the mind is calm, we begin to see others differently. We stop judging quickly, stop reacting sharply. We see that everyone is struggling in their own way. Everyone has their own suffering. So we demand less, anger less, compete less. And thus, our heart rests, our life softens. A calm mind lives deeply. Such a person is not blinded by shallow joy, nor broken by fleeting sorrow. They understand that everything comes and goes, but only awareness remains. They live slowly, but not sluggishly, calmly, but not indifferently, quietly, but not apart. Tonight, try sitting still. Turn off your phone, turn off the music, and leave only your breath. Inhale, Know the breath entering. Exhale. Know the breath leaving. Feel your chest rise and fall. Feel your heart beating. Think of nothing else. Just be here. Just be present. Then you'll see. The night is no longer loud. The mind no longer tangled. Everything becomes clear and bright. Stillness is not distant. It has always been there, within you, waiting for your return. When you stop, stillness appears. When you breathe, peace blooms. And when you live slowly and deeply, each step, each glance, each word carries serenity, gently slowing and warming the world around you. And so, the Dharma, in motion within you, continues to turn, slow but steady, soft yet deep, like the temple bell resonating through the night. Each rotation is a mindful breath, a moment of awakening, a little peace amid the noise, so that, in this world full of sound, you can still smile gently and say to yourself, I am here, and I am at peace. There is a quiet fear that almost everyone carries, the fear of the future. We worry about tomorrow, whether work will go well, whether loved ones will stay, whether health will last, whether life will be stable. Worry becomes a habit. Sometimes we worry even when there's nothing to worry about. But the strange thing is, the more we worry, the more tired we feel. For worry never makes the future better. It only steals peace from the present. The Buddha taught, thinking of the past brings sorrow. Worrying about the future brings fear. Only those who live in the present truly know peace. Yet humans rarely stay in the present. Our mind is like a monkey, leaping from branch to branch, one moment to the past, the next to tomorrow. Thus the body is here, but the mind elsewhere, and that is the root of restlessness. We think worry is necessary, a sign of responsibility. But most worries are only stories we tell ourselves. They have not happened, yet we live as if they have. We build an imagined world, then fear it. And every time we do, we trap ourselves in an invisible cage called worry. Worry never improves anything, it only clouds our vision. When the mind is full of fear, wisdom fades. We make poor choices, we hurt easily. But when we are calm, clarity returns. Therefore, letting go of worry is not indifference, it is wisdom. It is knowing that what lies beyond our power is useless to dwell upon. The Buddha said, if something can be solved, do not worry. If it cannot, worry is useless. Simple words, yet a miraculous medicine. Think back to your past worries. How many of them actually happened? Perhaps only a few. The rest vanished like mist, while we lost so much energy to things that never were. Letting go of worry begins with distinguishing what we can and cannot do. What lies within our reach, do it wholeheartedly. What lies beyond, leave it to causes and conditions. We cannot command the wind, stop the rain, or control another's heart. But we can choose how to respond, how to see, how to live. That is our true power. Worry often arises from the need to control. When we want everything our way, we fear loss, error, and change. But as we have learned, life is impermanent. Everything changes. Instead of worrying, trust that flow. Perhaps what you want today does not come, because what you truly need is on its way. Perhaps today's loss is the space life makes for something better to enter. In moments of worry, return to your breath. When the mind begins to wander, just breathe deeply in and slowly out. Inhale, know you are worried. Exhale, whisper, I am at peace. Each time you do, the worry melts a little, for worry cannot exist beside awareness. When mindfulness arises, worry disappears. The Buddha taught, everything will pass, familiar words, but when truly understood, they bring great lightness. For nothing lasts forever, not joy, not sorrow, not success, not failure. Everything is like waves, coming and going, coming and going. When we see that truth, worry drops away. like dew vanishing in morning sunlight. Someone asked, "How can I not worry when life is so uncertain?" The answer is, have faith. Not blind faith, but trust in karma, in wholesome energy, in the wisdom of the universe. Trust that if we live rightly, do good, and speak kindly, then even in storms, we remain safe. Faith is not escape. It is the strength to face uncertainty with calm. In life, our worries often aren't about great things, but small ones. Fear of others' opinions, fear of not being loved, fear of not being enough. Yet these fears arise only when we forget our true worth. When we remember that we need not be perfect to be loved, fear fades. When we see that everyone struggles with their own worries, comparison stops. A simple practice. Write down your worries, then ask, is this real? Is it certain to happen? What can I do? 9 out of 10 will fall away, leaving only what truly needs attention. Do what matters, release what doesn't. That is the wisdom of one who truly knows how to live. Sometimes we worry because we don't yet trust ourselves. But remember, you've already walked through so many storms, and you're still here. Everything that once frightened you has, in the end, passed. So when worry comes, tell yourself, I've made it through before, and I will again. That simple sentence is a quiet promise of peace, helping your heart return to steadiness. Tonight, if you still feel uneasy, don't fight it. Let your worries sit beside you and gently say, "Thank you for coming, but I'd like to rest now." Then take a deep breath, feeling the air come and go. Every worry, like each breath, arrives and departs. There's no need to hold on. Let it go and remain. Here, in this moment. You'll soon see that life doesn't need your worry to keep moving. The sun still rises, birds still sing, rain still falls, flowers still bloom. Everything flows in its natural rhythm. All you need to do is live your part. Do your best, then rest in ease. Peace doesn't come from having no worries, but from knowing how to smile even while they're there. And then, the Dharma in motion within you turns once more. Light yet steady, like a wheel rolling through morning mist. Each rotation is a gentle reminder, it's all right. Everything will pass. That sentence is the key to peace. A doorway to the space where there is no fear, no worry, only faith and a quiet warmth spreading through your soul. Perhaps one of the deepest roots of human suffering is not having too little, but expecting too much. We expect others to understand us, to treat us the way we wish. We expect life to be fair, smooth, and calm. But life doesn't always follow the plans we draw. When things don't go as we hope, we hurt. Not because life is cruel, but because our hearts are attached to how it should be. The Buddha taught, the cause of suffering is craving, clinging, and desire. When we cling too tightly, we hand over our peace to external things. When someone smiles at us, we feel joy. When they grow distant, we feel lonely. When success comes, we rejoice. When failure comes, we despair. The mind swings up and down like a leaf in the wind. That is the suffering of living through expectation. Expectations often begin with love. We love someone and hope they will love us back. We help someone and hope they will be grateful. We do good and hope it will return to us. But life does not always follow such equations. Sometimes we give our all and are misunderstood. Sometimes we are sincere and still get hurt. Without insight, we feel it's unfair. But truly, life simply moves according to causes and conditions, not our emotions. Those who understand the Dharma no longer seek happiness in others, for they know true joy doesn't come from someone, but from clear seeing within. When we stop depending on others to make us happy, we begin to feel free. When we stop forcing others to live as we wish, we feel lighter. When we stop searching outside, we begin to find peace inside. True happiness is not having everything you want, but being at peace even when you don't. When our hearts demand less, even the smallest things become joys. A sincere glance, a simple meal, an evening breeze, all can make us smile, because we no longer need more to feel enough. Someone said, "I can't stop expecting, because expectations give me motivation." But expectation and understanding are different. Understanding helps us act wisely. Expectation binds us. The wise still act, strive, and love, but without attachment to results. They give their best without conditions, knowing that real joy lies in right action itself, not in the outcome. The Buddha taught, "Do good and let go of results." Like a farmer planting seeds, their work is to sow. Sunlight, rain, soil, and wind, those are beyond their control. If the seed sprouts, that is grace. If it doesn't, the causes were not yet ripe. Understanding this, we act calmly, without worrying about what we'll get or what others think. Everything becomes lighter because we simply live rightly. When we place expectations on others, disappointment follows, because everyone has their own path, karma, and lessons. No one exists to fulfill our script. Even those we love have their own sorrows, their own limits. Instead of blaming, understand. For when we understand, we stop expecting. When we stop expecting, we begin to love freely. Conditional love always carries suffering. We say, "I love you if you treat me well." But when they stop, we hurt. Yet when we learn unconditional love, fear disappears, for we love not to possess, but to understand, to shine. Like the sun, which warms all without demanding gratitude. Letting go of expectation doesn't mean indifference. On the contrary, it deepens our living. Because we no longer use others to fill our emptiness, nor results to define our worth. We live for the joy of living, not for praise. We love for the joy of loving, not for return. Someone once asked, "Without expectations, wouldn't life feel dull?" But when we truly let go, we see expectation only blinds us to life's beauty. When we no longer demand others to make us happy, we start to find joy everywhere. Beauty has always been here. We just used to be too busy wanting to notice it. Letting go of expectation is also a way to honor others. When we no longer force them to live by our standards, they are free to be themselves. And when they are free, love between both becomes more genuine and whole. Because true love can only exist between two free beings. A simple practice. Whenever you catch yourself expecting, pause and ask, "If this doesn't go my way, can I still be at peace?" If the answer is no, return to your breath and remind yourself, everything is impermanent. Everything is changing. People, feelings, relationships, circumstances. When we see this truth, we stop clinging and start appreciating. In relationships, practice loving without demanding. Give without waiting for return. Stay with someone with a peaceful heart, not out of fear of loss. When we love that way, we no longer worry, because we know everything follows its course. When there is connection, we meet. When it fades, we part. Without blame, without regret, only gratitude for having walked together for a while. Letting go of expectations also helps us see ourselves more clearly. Often, we place expectations on others because we haven't yet learned how to be with ourselves. When we feel lonely, we seek someone to fill the emptiness. When they don't respond as we wish, we suffer. But if we know how to return to ourselves, to keep company with our own heart, we realize that being alone is not frightening. Being with the wrong person is. Tonight, try sitting quietly and think of someone or something upon which you once placed too much expectation. Then take a deep breath in, exhale slowly, and whisper to your heart, "I let go." Not letting go of the person, but of the desire for them to be different. When you release that, love finally has space to blossom. You'll then see that happiness does not come from having someone beside you, but from feeling whole even when you are alone. When the heart is full of love, the world is full. When the heart is free, every relationship becomes light. Letting go of expectation is returning to the truth. No one is born to make you happy. Only you can do that. Once you see this, you begin to live with the freedom and serenity of one who no longer demands. Every day, every breath becomes a gift. And then, the Dharma. In motion within you turns again, slowly, wholly, not for anyone, not for anything, but for life itself continuing. Each rotation is a tender reminder. Happiness is not in getting, but in gratitude, not in having, but in enoughness, not in someone else, but in yourself. There is a beautiful saying of the Buddha, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. Go." Just that one sentence, if understood and lived, leads us halfway to liberation. For truly, most suffering does not come from what is happening, but from what we think about it. The present moment is always peaceful. Only when the mind runs to the past, where regrets linger, or leaps to the future, where worries have yet to form, do we suffer. It's like sitting on a boat while the mind stands on both riverbanks. How could it be still? To find peace, there is only one way: return to this moment. To dwell in the present doesn't mean forgetting the past or ignoring the future. It means knowing clearly where we are, what we are doing, and how we are living. It means eating and knowing we are eating, listening and knowing we are listening, breathing and knowing we are breathing. So simple, and yet so profound, for only when we are fully present does life truly touch us. The Buddha taught, each breath is a miracle. When we inhale mindfully, we are touching the wonder of life. When we exhale with awareness, we release the burdens we've carried for so long. The breath is the thread that ties us to the present, the bridge that carries us out of the chaos of thought and back home. One who lives in the present knows how to stop. Stop thinking about what has passed. Stop imagining what has not yet come. Stop chasing desires, fame, and praise. To stop is not to stop living, but to stop drifting. Only when we stop can we see. Only when we see can we understand. And only when we understand can we truly live. Imagine waking up in the morning without rushing to your phone, without diving into work, just sitting for a few minutes to hear the birds outside, to feel the first light slip through the curtains, to notice your breath rise and fall. Just a few moments, but your whole day will change, because you began it with presence. Living slowly does not mean being late, but living fully. It is when you drink a glass of water and truly taste its coolness, when you talk with someone and listen with your whole heart, when you walk down the street and notice the flowers along the way. These seem small, yet they make life deep. Those who don't know how to live slowly always feel life is short. They rush from task to task, day after day, not knowing where they're going. They think they are living much, but in truth they live little. For though the body is present, the mind is absent. But those who live slowly fill each moment with life. They don't count years. They count moments of presence. When we rest in the present, what once caused us pain becomes lighter. Because we no longer swim against the current, we simply are with all that is. If sadness arises, we know we are sad. If joy arises, we know we are joyful. Just knowing, not resisting, not chasing. That very knowing is the light that dissolves all darkness. Some say, I want to be present, but my mind is restless. In truth, recognizing the restlessness is already being present. When you know your mind is unsettled, you're no longer lost in it. Like one standing on the shore watching waves, the waves still crash, but you no longer drown. Only when you don't know, you are the wave. Living in the present is the only way to live truly. For the past is gone, the future not yet come. Only the present is real. Everything else is just a shadow in the mind. When we live each moment fully, life becomes crystal clear. Trees, light, sounds, the faces of those we love, all shine with a beauty we had never seen before. Sometimes, simply sitting still and listening to the sound of rain can bring happiness. Not because the rain is special, but because we are truly there to listen. In the same way, on a quiet evening, if we rest our attention on our own breath, we realize that peace has never left us. We just forgot how to return. The Buddha once taught, when walking, just walk. When standing, just stand. When lying down, just lie down. A simple teaching, yet a key to awakening. For the human mind often does one thing while thinking of another, walking while thinking of the destination, eating while thinking of work, speaking while the mind has already wandered elsewhere. Living that way, we never truly touch life. Dwelling in the present moment lessens sorrow for the past, fear of the future, and increases happiness in the now. Whenever the mind drifts away, smile gently and call it back with the breath. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I smile. Such a small contemplation, yet enough to open the door to peace. And when we live that way, we begin to see that each ordinary day is itself a miracle. There's no need to wait for something extraordinary to feel joy. Even just waking up, breathing, seeing the light, those are already great gifts. When we learn to cherish each moment, life becomes deep without needing to be grand. Tonight before sleeping, you can practice this. Lie down, close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath. Feel the cool air flow through your nose, touch your chest, and dissolve as you exhale. Inhale, know you are alive. Exhale, smile. That alone is meditation. To dwell in the present is to learn how to love each moment of this life. For life never repeats the same moment, nor returns what has passed. Every second is unique. When you live fully in each second, you are truly living, not merely existing. And then, the Dharma in motion in your heart turns once more. Slow, steady, unhurried, simply flowing in awareness. Each rotation is a breath, a smile, a touch of truth as it is. And you realize peace was never far away. It is right here, in this moment, when you are truly present. There is a truth the Buddha stated clearly. Life is suffering. But he did not stop there. He did not teach us to lament suffering, but to see its cause and the path to its end. That is the profound value of the Dharma, not to comfort us, but to help us understand and free ourselves. Suffering is not meant to be avoided, but to be understood. For when we understand, suffering dissolves. Like walking into a dark room, if we keep blaming the darkness, it remains. But light a lamp, and the darkness vanishes naturally. In the same way, when we illuminate our pain with insight, it can no longer rule us. We often try to escape suffering, seeking pleasure to forget, burying ourselves in work, or pretending to be strong so no one sees our pain. But avoiding suffering doesn't end it. It merely hides deeper and returns when we are weak. The Buddha taught, do not run away from suffering, look deeply into it. To understand is not to analyze with the mind, but to perceive with wisdom. It is to dare to sit down and face suffering as an old friend. Ask it, why have you come? And when we listen deeply, we discover that pain is never random. It has roots, perhaps in attachment, in craving, in misunderstanding. Suffering is life's bell of awakening, whispering, it is time to return to yourself. Each time you suffer, pause and ask, where does this pain truly come from? Not from others, not from circumstance, but usually from the heart's refusal to accept what is. When we want things to be different, when we resist reality, suffering arises. A friend breaks a promise. We suffer because we expect them to act as we wish. A plan fails. we suffer because we want another result. Someone leaves. We suffer because we cling to forever. But life is impermanent. Everything comes and goes according to its causes and conditions. When we understand this, we no longer blame others, no longer resent life. Pain remains, but softens. It becomes light enough to hold. The Buddha taught, understanding is the foundation of love. When we see the roots of suffering, compassion arises. We no longer hate those who hurt us because we see they suffer too. We no longer blame ourselves for past mistakes because we understand that at that time we simply did not know better. And thus, suffering becomes the ground where compassion grows. A wondrous thing happens. When we hold suffering in mindfulness, it transforms into wisdom, like clouds becoming rain, rain nourishing trees, and trees bearing fruit. If we know how to hold pain, we no longer fear it, because each sorrow refines the heart, making it clearer and kinder. Some say, I practice, yet I still suffer. The Buddha never promised that practitioners would never suffer. He only showed how to transform suffering into peace. The difference between one who practices and one who doesn't is this: the untrained are carried away by suffering. The mindful stop, observe, understand, and release. When pain comes, they do not fight it, but smile. Hello, my friend, I see you. And in that awareness, pain loses its power. Look back on your life. How many times did you think you were broken, only to grow wiser, more compassionate, more whole from those wounds? It is those very sufferings that have been silent teachers, guiding you to maturity. Without them, we would remain shallow, never truly knowing the value of peace. The transformation of suffering begins with accepting it as part of life. No one lives without pain. The difference lies here. Those who suffer endlessly refuse to face it. Those who are peaceful look deeply and learn from it. When we accept, resistance ends, and in that very moment, suffering begins to dissolve. When anger arises, instead of suppressing or reacting, breathe and look deeply. Where does this anger come from? Perhaps from an old wound, a fear, or a lack of understanding. When you see its root, anger naturally fades. When sadness comes, instead of blaming, hold it gently, like a child crying in your arms. Just hold it, no need to push it away. And soon, sorrow rests peacefully in that mindful embrace. The Buddha said, suffering is the soil that nourishes happiness. Without night, we would not cherish the light. Without pain, we would not know the worth of peace. The deeper we understand suffering, the wider our hearts open, the more grateful we become for what is. Thus, the awakened do not run from suffering. They walk through it as the path of practice. The transformation of suffering is not done once and for all. It is a lifelong journey. Today, you may still feel weak, still cry, still tremble. But as long as you keep breathing mindfully, keep seeing with understanding, every tear that falls softens the soil of your heart. And one day, from that very soil, flowers of peace will bloom. Tonight, if a sorrow still sits within you, don't chase it away. Let it sit beside you and say, hello, my old friend. I know you have come to teach me something. Then breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. No judgment, no resentment. Let your breath gently cradle that pain like water holding a stone. Then you will see it dissolves, not because it disappears, but because it has been understood. And then the Dharma in motion within your heart turns once more, slow, gentle, and bright. Each rotation is a moment when suffering is seen, compassion is born, and understanding grows. When you look back, you will smile and realize suffering has never been the enemy, but the teacher, the one who silently guided you toward the path of awakening and true peace. In the Buddhist scriptures, it is said, if your heart is not filled with love, you cannot speak of enlightenment. Love here does not only mean loving others, but first, loving yourself. For if you do not know how to embrace yourself, you will never truly know how to love another. Many people think that loving oneself is selfish, but the Buddha taught that compassion toward oneself is the beginning of wisdom. When we clearly understand our own wounds, limits, and pains, we know how not to cause suffering to others. On the contrary, those who do not love themselves often hurt others easily, because within them are too many unhealed wounds. Self-compassion is not indulgence, but the ability to care for and understand oneself correctly. When tired, allow yourself to rest. When sad, allow yourself to cry. When wrong, allow yourself to learn. When weak, allow yourself to hold yourself instead of scolding. No one needs us to be strong forever, only to be honest with our feelings. Many people suffer because they spend their whole lives searching for love outside, longing for someone to understand, to acknowledge, to love them. But love from outside, no matter how beautiful, is still limited. Only the love that arises from understanding within us is lasting, because it depends on no one and never changes with time. The Buddha taught, "A compassionate heart is like the sun, shining without choosing where. True love does not discriminate, does not condition, does not limit." When we love with a pure heart, we no longer fear being hurt, because we do not love to receive, but to give. And strangely, when we stop demanding, love returns multiplied. But to love others correctly, we must first understand their suffering. No one harms others when they are at peace. When someone is angry, they are in pain. When someone is cold, they are afraid. When we understand that, we no longer respond with anger, but with compassion. That is the wisdom of a compassionate heart. There is a story in the scriptures. A man was struck by an arrow and was in great pain, but instead of pulling it out, he shot a second arrow into the same wound. The first arrow is suffering, the second is anger. The Buddha taught that practitioners should not shoot the second arrow. When someone hurts us, the first arrow is pain. If we respond with anger, hatred, or revenge, that is the second arrow. The wise stop at the first. They recognize, feel, and let go. Such people suffer less and heal faster. Compassion is not weakness. Compassion is the strength of the awakened. Only those with true understanding can choose not to retaliate, not to hate, yet still remain kind. When we seek revenge, we let others control our minds. When we forgive, we reclaim our freedom. Therefore, the compassionate are the freest ones, for no one can pull them into suffering. Yet sometimes, we must remember, compassion does not mean endless endurance. There are relationships that repeatedly hurt us. We have the right to leave, but leave with understanding, not hatred. The Buddha taught, compassion does not mean weakness. True compassion knows its limits, so that neither oneself nor others suffer. Compassion is to love with wisdom, to speak gently yet clearly, to help others without forgetting oneself, to understand that kindness is not about pleasing everyone, but about keeping one's heart from turning bitter. When we live with compassion, the world around us gradually changes. The hot-tempered soften in the warmth of our kindness. The stubborn begin to open. For the energy of compassion spreads more powerfully than 1,000 words. When compassion fills your heart, you no longer need to try to do good. Every glance, every word, every act already becomes goodness itself. One of the ways to cultivate compassion is through loving-kindness meditation, metta bhavana. We sit still, breathe calmly, and begin with the intention, may I be peaceful, may I be healthy, may I be free from suffering. Then we expand it, may those I love be peaceful, may those I do not like also be peaceful, may all beings be happy and safe. With regular practice, our heart becomes soft like the earth, able to embrace both sun and rain, praise and blame, love and hate, without resentment. And then we truly understand the Buddha's words. There is no path to love, for love itself is the path. Tonight, you can practice this before sleep. Sit quietly, close your eyes, take a deep breath, then exhale slowly. In your mind, raise a single phrase. May I be peaceful. Let that phrase spread throughout your body, through every breath. Then think of a friend, someone who once made you sad, and send them the same wish. May you be peaceful. At first it may feel difficult, but if you do it sincerely, you will sense a warm current spreading through you. That is compassion blooming within your heart. Compassion is not about words, but about presence. A compassionate person, even in silence, brings peace to others. They walk slowly, speak gently, their eyes are kind, and that energy softens the space around them. When we live like this, we not only help the world but also ourselves. For a heart of compassion is the safest refuge in a stormy world. And then, the Dharma in motion within your heart turns once more, round, warm, radiating the gentle light of loving kindness. Each turn is a silent prayer. May all beings be peaceful. When the heart overflows with compassion, suffering finds no place to cling to, and peace naturally remains, quiet and deep, like a soft breath in the still night. There is a beautiful line in the sutras. Between resentment and gratitude, only one thought released, and the sea of suffering becomes calm. Forgiveness is not an act of weakness, but the highest expression of inner strength. For to forgive, one must understand deeply, love deeply, and be free enough not to be imprisoned by the past. In life, everyone has been hurt, perhaps by words, betrayal, or actions that caused pain. At first, we think time alone will heal the wound. Yet years later, even a small memory can still make the heart ache. That is a sign we have not truly let go. The Buddha taught, hatred cannot be ended by hatred. Only love can do that. Just as fire cannot be extinguished by fire, only water can put it out. The more we feed resentment, the more it burns the one who holds it. We think we are punishing others, but in truth, we are punishing ourselves. Those who hold on to hatred live in the past. Each remembrance becomes another suffering. The other person may have forgotten, may be living a new life while we still imprison ourselves in old pain. Forgiveness is not denial of what happened. It is setting down the burden we have carried too long. When we cannot forgive, look deeply. Why does it hurt so much? Is it because we trusted too deeply? Because we wished they were different? Or because our pride was wounded? When we understand the root of the pain, we see that the other is not the sole cause, but a condition for our own learning. The Buddha taught, everything that comes to us arises from the karma we have sown. Perhaps in the past we caused pain to someone, and now the fruit has ripened. Not as punishment, but as a lesson, to help us learn love and letting go. When we see life through the lens of karma, our heart no longer blames. We see everything as an opportunity to grow in understanding. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Forgetting erases. Forgiveness transforms. When we understand, the wound is no longer a wound, but an engraving in wisdom. We still remember, but with serenity, like looking at a scar on our hand, no longer painful, only a reminder of how far we've come. Those who can forgive are truly free. They do not let the past control the present, nor let others rule their hearts. Forgiveness is not because the other deserves it, but because we deserve peace. When we release resentment, we untie the knots in our own heart. When there is no one left to blame, we are finally light. Some people we can forgive immediately, others require time. That's all right. Forgiveness is not an order, but a journey. Each time we remember and feel less pain, we have taken a step. Each time we think of them without anger, we are closer to freedom. One practice is this. When you recall someone who has hurt you, instead of resentment, silently send them a wish. May you be peaceful. At first, it may feel forced, but if repeated with sincerity, that energy will transform. For when loving kindness arises, hatred cannot coexist. Forgiveness is not only for others, but also for ourselves. We have erred, stumbled, been weak. If we keep blaming ourselves, we will never move forward. Remember, the Buddha does not seek the perfect. He seeks the awakened. Mistakes are not frightening. Only refusing to learn from them is. When we can embrace ourselves with compassion, the darkness within begins to fade. Someone once asked, "Does forgiveness mean allowing others to keep hurting us?" No. Forgiveness releases hatred, not wisdom. If someone has harmed us, we may keep distance, but without bitterness. Holding anger only exhausts us. Holding awareness brings peace. The Buddha taught, "Those who forgive are wise, for they understand that all beings are learning how to live." Indeed, no one is born knowing perfect love. Everyone is clumsy, mistaken, learning the art of being human. When we understand that, forgiveness becomes easier, because we realize we too have once been like them. Tonight, if you still hold anger in your heart, sit quietly, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and softly say, "I forgive you. I forgive myself." Do not wait for the other person to apologize. Forgiveness does not require their awareness. Forgiveness is the work of the heart, not of the mouth. When these words arise from the depth of your being, you will feel a gentle light opening in your chest. That is freedom. Forgiveness is the greatest gift you can offer yourself. It not only brings peace, but also transforms you into someone who loves more deeply. Those who have suffered and learned to forgive understand the value of peace better than anyone. And thus, the Dharma in motion within your heart turns once more, gently, warmly, radiating the soft light of compassion. Each turn is an act of forgiveness, a release, a return to freedom. When your heart holds no resentment, everything around you becomes kind, and you will realize that happiness does not lie in what you gain, but in being light enough to let go. There is a mindset that makes every suffering lighter and every joy deeper: gratitude. Gratitude is not only for when we are helped, but a way of living, a state of mind. The Buddha taught, "A person who knows gratitude and repays kindness is rare in this world." Because gratitude is not an outer act, but an awakening of the heart to the ordinary miracles we often take for granted. We often forget how much we have received. Each morning when we open our eyes and see the light, that alone is a gift. To breathe, to walk, to hear the birds, to have someone greet us or ask how we are, all are blessings. But because they are so familiar, we stop noticing. Only when we lose them do we realize that the smallest things are the most precious. The Buddha said, "One who is grateful lives in blessings." Gratitude nourishes positive energy in the mind. When we are grateful, we cannot hate. When we are grateful, we do not complain. When we are grateful, everything around us feels abundant. A grateful person does not need life to be perfect because they already see beauty even in imperfection. Gratitude is not just saying thank you, but truly feeling it. It is seeing the effort of the earth, the water, the sun, the wind, and the countless beings who contribute silently to our life today. The clothes we wear, the rice we eat, the house we live in, all carry the hands of many. No one truly lives by themselves. When we realize this, humility and reverence naturally arise in our hearts. Gratitude is also a way to transform suffering. When something unpleasant happens, instead of asking, "Why me?" we can ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Just by changing the question, the energy inside us shifts. Suffering ceases to be an enemy and becomes a teacher, because through hardship, we learn patience, compassion, and inner strength. A person who has suffered and still feels gratitude is one who has come close to enlightenment, for they see that even suffering has its role. It awakens us from the illusion that life must always be smooth. When we can be grateful even for our pain, we no longer fear life, for we understand that everything arrives for a reason and can become a blessing if we see it with wisdom. Someone once asked, "How can I be grateful to those who hurt me?" The answer is through understanding, for they helped reveal our own limits and taught us lessons of letting go and forgiveness. They did not give us joy, but they gave us wisdom. When we understand this, resentment dissolves, and only gratitude remains. When we are grateful, the energy of life within us transforms. We demand less, expect less, compare less. We find joy in simple things, in having parents to call, friends to talk to, a quiet place at night just to listen to our breath. A grateful person does not need to seek happiness elsewhere, for they are already living in happiness. A person may be rich in wealth, but poor in gratitude. Conversely, one who has gratitude always feels rich, for they see life as a continuous gift. Such a person does not need much, yet always feels enough. They do not need luxury, yet live in peace. For happiness lies not in quantity, but in the quality of one's perception. The Buddha taught, gratitude to parents, to teachers, to all beings. That is the foundation of virtue. One who is grateful to their parents cherishes life. One who is grateful to their teachers cherishes wisdom. One who is grateful to all beings treasures every drop of water, every grain of rice, every breeze. When we live with gratitude, every step we take becomes a silent bow of appreciation to life itself. Practicing gratitude is simple. Each night before sleep, recall 3 things from the day that you are grateful for. Perhaps a smile, a meal, a kind word. Do it regularly, and you will see that every day holds countless blessings. This small habit can transform the way you see life. When you are grateful, you naturally learn to give. For those who know how much they have received, sharing becomes effortless. A word of encouragement, a hug, a small act, all become ways to repay life. And when we give with gratitude, it is not out of duty, but out of joy. Because we know that giving is also receiving. Tonight, before you sleep, try placing your hand over your heart. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and whisper, "Thank you for being alive. Thank you for still having the chance to love, to learn, to change." Just that simple sentence will soften your heart. All worries will seem to melt away, leaving only a warm, gentle peace spreading through your whole being. Gratitude is not merely an emotion, but a healing energy. It transforms anger into compassion, suffering into understanding, and ordinary life into meditation. When we are grateful, we are not only happy ourselves, but we also make others happy. For this energy radiates without words. And so, the Dharma in motion within your heart turns again, round, clear, and radiant with the light of gratitude. Each turn is a breath of appreciation, a peaceful smile, a humble bow before life. When the heart is grateful, there is nothing left to resent, nothing left to lack. All suffering transforms into blessings, and you can only whisper, "Thank you, life, for each day I still breathe." In life, there are many things we want to hold on to: a relationship, a job, a belief, or a desired outcome. We want everything to follow our will, want others to understand us, want life to be fair and smooth. Yet, the more we try to control, the more anxious we feel, because life does not follow our will, but unfolds according to causes, conditions, and the natural law of all phenomena. The Buddha taught, all things are impermanent. All phenomena arise through conditions. When we understand this, we learn to let go, to flow, and to trust. In this world, nothing lasts forever. Not emotions, not loved ones, not even what we think is certain. Everything comes and goes, like clouds drifting across the sky. We cannot hold, we cannot force, we can only smile and watch. Control is the root of suffering because it stems from fear. Fear of loss, fear of being wrong, fear of not being enough, fear of not being loved. We try to control to feel safe, but in seeking safety, we lose peace. Like holding sand too tightly in the palm, the tighter the grip, the faster it slips away. If we open our hands, the wind will let the grains rest gently, neither falling nor breaking. The Buddha taught, letting go is not abandoning, but being free from attachment. When we work, we give our best, but without clinging to the result. When we love, we give deeply, but without binding. When we help, we give wholeheartedly, but without expecting return. This is letting go in action, a letting go born of wisdom. Those who do not yet understand the way think that letting go means weakness, giving up, or lack of effort. But in truth, letting go is freedom, knowing what can be changed and what must be entrusted to life. Some things cannot be forced, as the wind cannot hold the clouds, the waves cannot keep the water, and one person cannot hold another. Everything stays only for as long as it needs to stay. Often, what we try hardest to control becomes our greatest source of suffering. The more we fear losing, the more uneasy we become. The more we try to make others obey our expectations, the further they drift. The more we worry about the future, the more we forget the present. And when we grow weary, we realize that peace does not come from control, but from acceptance. Letting go of control is a journey of trust, trusting that life has its own wisdom, that karma never errs, that what must come will come, and what has passed was right on time. When we trust, we no longer panic at change, for we know everything happens to help us grow wiser and more loving. The Buddha once said, "Not even a falling leaf escapes the law of cause and condition." Thus, every meeting, parting, or upheaval carries a lesson. If we only complain, we learn nothing. But if we listen deeply, we will find wisdom within it. A Zen master once said, "When you stop fighting the river, you begin to flow." Life is the same. When we stop forcing things to follow our will, we begin to live in rhythm with existence. We stop struggling and learn to harmonize. When it rains, we listen to the rain. When the sun rises, we enjoy its light. In surrender, the heart expands. In resistance, it tightens. Truly, those who know how to let go are not heartless. They simply see the whole picture. They understand that everything has its time. Some things we do not understand today, but tomorrow will be clear. Some people leave today, yet years later we realize their departure opened another door for us. Letting go of control does not mean abandoning responsibility. We still live sincerely and act wholeheartedly, but without forcing outcomes. Like a farmer who tills the soil, tends the field, waters the seeds, and leaves the season to the sky, we do our part, and the rest we entrust to life. Whenever you feel anxious because things aren't as you wish, pause, take a deep breath, and ask, "What am I trying to control?" Then gently remind yourself, "Have I done my best?" If yes, then let life do the rest. As you say this, you will feel lightness spread through your heart. Letting go of control is also a lesson in humility. For sometimes what we think is right may not be what is best. Life has its own intelligence, and the Dharma, the law of the universe, always guides us to where we need to be, not necessarily where we want to be. Someone once said, "When you trust life, life trusts you." Indeed, when we stop resisting, we begin to align. When we stop forcing, things unfold naturally. When we let go, what is meant to come will come, because we no longer block it with our fear. Tonight, if there is still something you cannot release, a worry, a person from the past, an unfulfilled plan, close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, and say, I trust life. Inhale, feel the breath entering. Exhale, let the burdens melt away with your breath. Trust that the universe never abandons anyone. It is simply rearranging the path for you. When that trust awakens, everything becomes easier. What comes, you welcome. What goes, you bless. Amid all changes, you remain still like a calm lake. That is mindfulness, to live in the flow, yet not be swept away, and so, the Dharma. In motion within your heart turns once more, gently, steadily, in rhythm with the breath of the earth and sky. Each rotation is a whisper, let go and be free. When you no longer need to hold, you will feel held by the universe itself. When you no longer need to control, you will see that life arranges itself in peace. And when you trust that flow, your mind becomes still as an autumn lake, serene, clear, and tranquil. In a world that rushes endlessly, living slowly has become a luxury. Everyone is busy, busy surviving, busy loving, busy worrying, busy chasing one plan after another. Yet the busier we are, the easier we forget the most important question: what are we living for? The Buddha taught, to live long is not truly to live with awareness is. Living slowly does not mean moving sluggishly, but living deeply in each moment. When eating, know you are eating. When walking, know you are walking. When speaking, know you are speaking. When breathing, know you are breathing. This awareness makes life vivid, full, and meaningful in every second. Many say they don't have time to live slowly, but in truth, living slowly requires no time, only presence. Even one mindful minute can become a whole life lived fully. Without presence, even 100 years pass like a dream. The Buddha once taught, the one who can pause amid the stream of life walks fastest on the path of enlightenment. For when we stop, we see. When we see, we understand. And when we understand, peace arises naturally. We suffer not because life is complicated, but because our mind refuses to stop and see clearly. Notice, when the mind runs fast, we err easily. When we rush decisions, we regret. When we speak in anger, we hurt others. Most suffering begins in moments of unawareness. But when we live slowly, we see each movement of the mind clearly and have the space to choose peace in every response. Living slowly is the art of savoring life. It is sitting with a cup of tea and truly feeling the warmth spread across your tongue. It is walking down the street and seeing sunlight fall upon the leaves. It is hearing birdsong and smiling for no reason. When you live like that, you no longer search for happiness elsewhere, because you are living in happiness already. Those who live slowly are not swept along by the crowd. They do not chase praise, nor are they shaken by criticism. They know everything changes, so there is no need to hurry. They live like a stream running through the forest, gentle, quiet, yet bearing the strength of perseverance. In meditation, there is a very simple practice. Stop to breathe. Whenever the mind is agitated, just stop. Breathe in deeply, breathe out slowly. Stopping is not giving up, but returning. When we stop, thoughts begin to slow, emotions settle, and the mind begins to clear. In that very moment, we see clearly what we previously only skimmed past. One who knows how to live slowly is one who knows how to listen. They listen to others with the heart, without interrupting, without rushing to judge. They listen to nature with the ears of gratitude, the wind, the rain, the silence. And they also know how to listen to themselves, to their true needs, to the call of the soul, even to the empty spaces within that they have long neglected. Living slowly is also living in harmony with the rhythm of heaven and earth. The sun never rises early, the rain does not fall faster, the flower does not bloom in haste. Everything is in its right time. Human beings, only because we are too afraid of being slow, end up losing what is timely. But when we live slowly, we begin to align with that natural rhythm, unhurried, quiet, yet deep and steadfast. Those who live slowly do not fear missing out, because they understand that what belongs to them will remain. They do not need to run because they trust conditions. They do not worry about loss because they know everything is coming and going exactly as it should. That is why they are light. They are at ease, moving through life unhurried without being carried away by it. Tonight before sleep, you can practice living slowly with one small act. Simply lie still, without holding your phone, without thinking, without trying to do anything at all. Just breathe in. Feel the air pass through the nose and touch lightly within the chest. Then breathe out, letting the whole body soften. Let the breath lead you back to the present. In that very moment, you are living slowly, and you are living truly. The Buddha taught, one who knows how to dwell in the present is one who knows how to live, for the present is the only gateway to peace. The past has passed, the future has not yet come. Only this moment is real. When we live slowly, we live in that moment, and that is meditation in the midst of life. And when you can live like that, everything gradually becomes transparent. Each morning is no longer just a new day, but a miracle. Each evening is not merely a time to rest, but a time to return to yourself. When your mind is at peace, you will see that life is not small at all. It is only that before, we move too fast to notice. The Dharma. In motion within you keeps turning, slow yet steady, quiet yet luminous. Each turn is a breath, a step, a moment of mindfulness. And when the mind is at peace, you no longer need to run because you have already arrived, right in this very moment. In this life, anxiety seems all too familiar. We worry about the future, about work, about those we love, and sometimes even about things that have never happened. But the Buddha taught that worry does not make tomorrow less painful, it only steals the peace of today. Anxiety is the habit of a mind that wants to control, wants to know everything in advance, wants to be certain it is safe. Yet life is impermanent. No one can foresee it all. We worry to avoid suffering, but by worrying, we are already suffering. Like someone who fears the waves and so dares not enter the sea, not realizing that peace lies in the ability to swim among the waves, not in fleeing from them. The Buddha taught, the root of anxiety is a lack of faith. When we do not trust karma, we fear being wrong. When we do not trust conditions, we fear loss. When we do not trust ourselves, we fear not being enough. But with faith in the Dharma, we understand that everything arrives at the right time, with the right people, and the right conditions. Our task is simply to plant wholesome seeds and let life operate according to its natural law. Anxiety tangles the mind like a pond stirred into murk. When the water is cloudy, we cannot see the bottom. Only when we stop stirring does the surface clear, and only then can we see. Likewise, when the mind stops worrying, wisdom arises. A practitioner is not someone without problems, but someone who does not let problems control the mind. Many think that worry is care, but worry brings no one peace. It only spreads the energy of fear. Instead of worrying, transform that energy into mindfulness and conscious action. If there is something to be done, do it wholeheartedly. If nothing can be done, breathe and let go. That is wisdom. The Buddha once taught, let everything come and go as it naturally does. Anxiety arises when we want things to be different, but when we accept, we are at peace. When we release, we are free. Observe this. In a single day, how many times do we create suffering for ourselves simply because the mind wants something else? Wanting others to understand us more, wanting results faster, wanting life to be smoother. All those wants are the very roots of worry. Letting go of worry is not indifference. It is knowing our limits. There are things we can do and things that only time can answer. There are matters we can strive for and matters that only ripen when the conditions are sufficient. To release is to respect the natural law of life. One way to release worry is to return to the breath. Whenever anxiety arises, pause, breathe in slowly, breathe out slowly. When breathing in, know you are breathing in. When breathing out, know you are breathing out. The breath is an anchor that steadies the mind in the midst of waves. When the mind has a place to rest, worry cannot take hold. The Buddha taught that one who knows how to breathe knows how to live. For the breath is the present moment, the proof that we are still here. Anxiety is the mind racing into the future, while peace is the mind returning to the present. When we live in the present, we step out of fear. The present is always safe. Storms exist only in the mind. To release worry, we also need the insight of impermanence. Understanding that everything changes, we stop clinging to what is temporary. What troubles us today may be insignificant tomorrow. Every fear is a guest, arriving, then departing. Knowing this, we no longer oppose, we simply smile in greeting. A Zen master said, "Worry is borrowing the suffering of the future and paying interest with the peace of the present." It is exactly so. Each time we worry, we trade away our serenity for something that may never occur. The wise replace worry with trust. They do their utmost, then let go completely. Tonight, if there remains a worry within you about money, work, health, or love, try sitting quietly. Close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out. Tell yourself, everything will be all right. I have done my best. The rest, let conditions decide. Just saying this, your heart will feel lighter, for in each breath, you are returning to the truth of calm. The one who releases worry is free. They are not bound by the past, nor pulled by the future. They walk through life with a mind steady like a rock in a stream. Water flows by, yet the rock remains. They know that each day needs only to be lived fully, and the results can be entrusted to the Dharma, the law of cause and effect, of dependent arising of all phenomena. The Buddha taught, "Trust in karma as you trust the sun." When we sow wholesome seeds, even if flowers do not bloom today, their fragrance will surely come tomorrow. When we live kindly, when our heart is virtuous, the universe quietly adjusts to bring us good things. There is no need to worry, only to live rightly. And then, when you truly trust, you will feel light. What once troubled you will no longer weigh you down. Those who once made you sad, you will only feel compassion for. What remains unfinished, you will simply see as opportunities to learn. In that moment, you will smile, understanding that everything is exactly where it needs to be. The Dharma, in motion within you, turns once more, slow, radiant, serene. Each rotation is a calm breath, a deep trust in karma, a smile amid impermanence. When you trust, fear fades. When fear fades, worry dissolves. And when worry dissolves, you are truly living, free, light, like a cloud drifting in a clear sky. One of the deepest roots of suffering, rarely seen, is comparison. Since childhood, we've been taught to look outward, who is prettier, smarter, richer, more praised. And so, the mind grows used to measuring its worth through others. Yet the Buddha taught, the one who knows contentment is the richest, and the one who lives with themselves in peace is the happiest. When we compare, we leave ourselves. We stop living and begin merely competing in an endless race. The more we run, the more exhausted we become. There will always be someone ahead in something, and someone behind. But the comparing mind sees only lack, only what's missing, only what others have that we do not. From that, envy arises and suffering begins. The Buddha said, Envy is the fire that burns away one's merit. When we envy, we destroy our inner peace. We look at others' success with irritation instead of joy, at their happiness as threat instead of inspiration. That mind shrinks us, closes us, and distances us from compassion. The truth is, each person walks their own path with their own karma and causes. The rose blooms beautifully in the sun, yet the lotus spreads fragrance in the mud. No one is above another, only different in timing and lessons. Those who have blessings today are not greater. They have simply sown good seeds earlier. If we too plant kindness, our flowers will bloom in time. Envy disturbs the mind, but rejoicing, sharing joy in others' happiness, nurtures merit. When we sincerely celebrate another's success, their blessings remain and ours grow. Like lighting one candle from another, the light only multiplies. The one who rejoices lives in light. The one who envies wraps themselves in darkness of their own making. Think back, every time we envy, the heart feels heavy, the breath tight, the mind unsettled. Yet every time we rejoice, the heart feels light, a smile arises naturally. That difference marks the line between hell and heaven within. Heaven is not far away. It is right in the moment we smile at another's joy. The Buddha taught, no one can take away another's merit, just as no one can bear another's karma. Understanding this, envy dissolves, for we see that everyone walks their own way. Our task is only to walk ours, with virtue, mindfulness, and gratitude, and that is enough. The wise do not compare, for they know comparison is the fastest way to lose peace. Each time we look outward, we forget inward. Each time we look at others, we lose sight of our path. True happiness comes when we stop comparing and become friends with ourselves again. There is a simple yet profound lesson in meditation. When you sit, do not compare yourself with the one beside you. If they sit longer, do not think you're less. If they're stiller, do not think you're restless. Meditation is not competition, it is return. In life too, not all who walk fast arrive soon. Sometimes those who walk slowly truly see the beauty along the way. To release comparison, we must cultivate contentment. Contentment is not stagnation. It is appreciation for what is, while still growing with ease. The contented person does not envy the rich, despise the poor, or crave what is needless. They live simply, yet their heart overflows with peace. Each day, practice looking within rather than without. Ask, am I kinder than yesterday? Calmer? More loving? That is the true measure of progress. When we shine understanding upon ourselves, we are no longer trapped in comparison, for we are busy tending our own inner garden. A simple practice. Each night before sleep, think of someone you've envied and say silently, "Thank you for showing me what I need to learn." Do it sincerely, and envy will melt, leaving only lightness and calm. For every person we envy is a mirror, revealing what within us still seeks healing, and that makes them silent teachers. The Buddha taught, "The one with a joyful heart walks in peace." When seeing others happy, rejoice. When seeing others suffer, have compassion. When seeing success, offer blessings. When seeing downfall, wish them awakening. Living so, the world softens, for we no longer see through eyes of judgment, but through eyes of wisdom and love. Tonight, if you find yourself comparing in work, appearance, or happiness, sit quietly, breathe deeply, and smile. Look into the mirror and say, "I am me, and I am walking my own path." Such simple words can free us from envy's chain, and so, the Dharma in motion within you turns once more, slow, serene, but radiant with joy. Each turn is a breath of freedom, a smile of contentment, a soft glow of rejoicing. When you stop comparing, everything becomes enough, and you will see Happiness was never far away. It has always been right where you know how to be at peace. There is something we all do unconsciously, almost every day. We judge. We see a person, hear a word, notice an act, and instantly the mind divides. Right, wrong, good, bad, high, low, worthy, unworthy. Yet the Buddha taught, when the mind still judges, it has not yet understood. When it truly understands, it no longer judges. Judgment is the reflex of ego, for ego needs comparison to exist. Seeing others as wrong makes us feel right. Seeing others as lesser makes us feel superior. But the more we judge, the further we drift from compassion. Judgment closes the heart. Compassion opens it. We judge others easily, yet see ourselves dimly. We see others through their actions, but ourselves through intentions. When others are angry, we call them bad. When we are angry, we say we're just upset. That bias is the wall separating us from truth. The Buddha said, "The wise see their own faults as if looking into a mirror. The ignorant see others' faults as if looking through a window." When we judge, our mind says, "I know everything." But we only ever see a fragment of the whole. Each person is a long story, with past, pain, causes, and karma. We see the act but not its roots, like seeing a wave without knowing the depth of the ocean beneath. A story from the sutras tells, a novice monk saw a woman fall into a river and jumped in to save her. When he returned, the other monks scolded him, "You are a monk. How dare you touch a woman?" The novice smiled and said, "I set her down by the riverbank long ago. Why are you still carrying her?" The Buddha said, "One who truly lets go is not the one who avoids action, but the one who carries nothing afterward." Judgment makes us carry others in our mind, not with love, but with opinion. Each time we speak of another's fault, we keep that negativity within. But when we understand and release, we free ourselves. Those we judge may forget, but we are the ones bound. Letting go of judgment does not mean blindness or accepting all that is wrong. It means seeing clearly without attachment. When we see someone act wrongly, we recognize it. But instead of hating, we feel compassion, for they are suffering in ignorance. When we see someone cruel, we do not defend them, but neither do we hate, for only through understanding will they cease to cause harm. When the mind no longer judges, the world begins to soften. The person who once irritated us now evokes understanding. The words that once angered us now draw a gentle smile, because we realize that everyone acts according to their level of awareness. When someone is ignorant, they suffer, and in their suffering, they make others suffer. Seeing this, our heart becomes tender. The Buddha once said, "Do not hastily believe what your eyes see or your ears hear, for they may only be illusions. Like the moon reflected on water, appearing real, yet not real. When we release prejudice, we see more clearly, for the mind becomes clear. Everything grows lighter, everyone feels closer." One way to practice letting go of judgment is to ask instead of evaluate. When someone acts in a way that disturbs us, instead of thinking, "Why are they so awful?" ask, "What made them this way?" That question opens the door of understanding, while judgment closes it. When we ask with compassion, the answer arises from loving kindness, not ego. To be free of judgment, we must also cultivate humility. Remember, we too have been wrong, weak, and ignorant. Knowing that we have stumbled helps us forgive others more easily. The Buddha taught, the more one practices, the softer the heart becomes. For the deeper we walk the path, the more we see the complexity of being human and realize that judgment awakens no one, only love does. Tonight, before sleeping, try this simple exercise. Recall someone you once judged, a coworker, a relative, or someone from your past. Gently inhale, exhale, and say within, "I understand you better now. May you be at peace." Practice this sincerely, and something beautiful will happen. That person will seem smaller in your mind, and your heart will feel larger. The one who does not judge lives freely. They are not disturbed by others' faults, nor pulled into resentment. They see through eyes of compassion, speak with kind words, live with an open heart, and because of that, they no longer feel weary. The Buddha taught, "The mind is like water. When clear, it reflects everything, yet clings to nothing." When we release judgment, our mind too becomes clear. People come and go like clouds across the sky. We only watch, without attachment, without hatred, without excessive love, holding on to nothing. And so, the Dharma in motion within you turns again, light, gentle, and pure. Each rotation is a moment of letting go of bias, a moment of heart expansion. When you no longer judge, you realize the world was never truly dark. It was only that our hearts needed a little more understanding, a little more love. And when there is enough of both, everyone becomes worthy of compassion. There is an invisible thread that binds many people throughout life: the past. The past of pain, regret, mistakes, and what could have beens. We think we've moved on, yet with a single memory, a scent, or a phrase, all the old emotions return. And so we relive our pain, not once, but hundreds of times in the mind. The Buddha taught, "The past is gone, the future not yet come, only the present is real." Yet humans love to live in what has been or dream of what has not arrived. We let old memories define who we are, forgetting that we can begin anew with every breath. Letting go of the past does not mean forgetting. Forgetting is erasing. Letting go is accepting. It is looking back without pain. It is being able to tell the old story without tears. It is remembering someone who once hurt you and feeling peace instead of sorrow. When we let go, the memory remains, but it loses its power to wound. The past is a great school for the soul. If we learn the lesson, it becomes wisdom. If not, it becomes a burden. Every pain that came did not come to destroy us, but to teach love, understanding, and humility. When we grasp this truth, we feel gratitude instead of resentment. Many cannot release the past because deep down they still wish it could have been different. They say, "If only, what if, I should have." But the Buddha taught, there is no if in reality. Everything that happened arose from causes and conditions. It could not have been otherwise. When we stop resisting what has already happened, the heart becomes light. Remember, no one in this world is without mistakes. Mistakes are not frightening. Only living forever in guilt is. When we understand our own ignorance, we forgive ourselves. And when we see the ignorance of others, we forgive them too. Forgiving others is also freeing ourselves. Someone once said, "You cannot walk forward if you keep looking back." Indeed. If the mind keeps turning to the past, how can it see the light of the present? Each time we recall an old story, ask, "What have I learned from this?" If the answer is nothing, smile and set it down. The Buddha taught, "Once the boat has reached the shore, do not carry it on your shoulders." The past is the boat that brought us across the river. But once we've crossed, if we still carry it, it becomes a burden. Likewise, whatever has been, whether beautiful or painful, thank it, then let it go. A simple practice is mindfulness with memory. When a sad memory arises, don't push it away, don't hate it. Just breathe and notice. I am remembering. Feel it. See it as an old friend visiting, then smile. I see you, but I no longer need to hold you. Observed like this, the memory fades, for it only has power when we cling. Letting go of the past is also an act of faith in karma. When we understand that everything has causes and results, we stop resenting. For if something unpleasant happened, it is simply the fruit of old causes. Instead of blaming, we only need to plant new, wholesome seeds, like a farmer. If the old field is barren, he does not complain, he tills anew. Many carry memories of someone who left, a lover, a relative, or someone who passed away. They fear letting go because they believe it means forgetting, and forgetting feels like betrayal. But no, letting go is not forgetting the person, it is releasing the pain around them. True love does not need clinging. It remains in other forms, in understanding, in gratitude, in the peaceful energy that person left within us. Tonight, if you are holding on to something you cannot release, a mistake, an old love, or a wound within, sit quietly, breathe in deeply, and exhale slowly. As you breathe out, imagine that pain dissolving like smoke, drifting into the sky. Then gently say in your heart, "I have learned enough. Thank you, and goodbye." When you do this with sincerity, you will feel an emptiness open inside. But it is not loss, it is space for peace to enter. For only when we clear away old memories can happiness find a place to dwell. The Buddha taught, letting go of the past is the doorway to freedom. When we are no longer bound by what has been, we begin to live fully in what is. Each day becomes new, each person new, each breath a chance to begin again. The Dharma in motion within you turns once more, round, serene, light as a breeze. Each rotation is a memory transformed, a pain transmuted into understanding, a heart expanded. When you forgive the past, you free not only yourself, but everything that was once part of you. In every life, there is an invisible thread that ties us to suffering: expectation. Expectation of others, of outcomes, of ourselves achieving something. We believe that if things go our way, we will be happy. Yet the Buddha taught, the cause of suffering is attachment, and the greatest attachment is to expectation. When we expect, we quietly place conditions on happiness. We say, when this job succeeds, I will be at peace. When that person understands me, I will be happy. When I have enough money, I will be fulfilled. And so, we postpone joy to another time. But life is impermanent. What we wish for may come or may not. Thus, instead of living, we wait. We wait to be happy, to be at peace, to be loved. The Buddha said, all suffering arises from desire, not because desire is evil, but because we do not know how to release it. When desire becomes demand, we suffer. When we do not get what we want, we resent. When we do get it, we fear losing it. And so suffering spans from beginning to end. But the wise still dream, yet they are not chained by results. They act and let the Dharma unfold. Expectation steals our naturalness. We love, but expect love in return in the way we want. We help, but expect to be acknowledged. We work, but expect praise. When things fail to align with those expectations, disappointment and sorrow arise. Yet one without expectation never feels let down, for they understand that everything has its own timing and conditions. Letting go of expectation is not passivity, it is living mindfully, releasing results. When we plant a seed, our only task is to nurture it with goodness. Whether it sprouts and when it blooms, that is the work of causes and conditions. A seed of virtue is never lost, only waiting for its time. Some may say, without expectation, where does motivation come from? But true motivation does not arise from expectation. It comes from love and understanding. When we act out of compassion and awareness of meaning, we give our best without waiting for reward. That state of mind brings lasting joy. When we have no expectation, everything becomes a gift. If things go as we wish, we are grateful. If they do not, we learn. Either way, we cannot lose. The Buddha taught, success and failure are but two sides of one sheet of paper. The wise see both. yet cling to neither. In life, some people hurt us not because they are cruel, but because we expected too much from them. We wanted them to love us in our way, to understand as we wished, to act as we imagined. When they did not, we suffered. Yet the truth is, everyone lives according to their karma and awareness. They can only give what they have. Understanding this, we expect less, resent less, and our heart grows peaceful. Letting go of expectation is also letting go of the self, for behind every expectation lies an I seeking control. I want others to think well of me. I want everything to follow my plan. But life does not revolve around the self. Seeing this, we begin to flow with the current. What comes, we welcome. What goes, we bow farewell. The Buddha taught, when you act without expectation, that action is truly virtuous. To give without wanting return, that is selfless generosity, boundless merit. To love without seeking possession, that is pure compassion. To help without needing recognition, that is the practice of wisdom. Tonight, try releasing just one small expectation. Perhaps the expectation that someone will change or that tomorrow must be perfect. Sit still, breathe in and out, then softly say, I do not need everything to go my way. I only need my heart to be at peace. These words may seem simple, yet they hold the key to happiness. When you let go, life suddenly feels lighter. Everything loses its heaviness. A criticism no longer hurts. A loss no longer breaks you. Because you understand, everything comes and goes exactly as it should. The one without expectation lives truthfully. They love without calculation, act without measurement, live without fear. They place no condition on joy, for their joy lies in the awareness of each action. They are like a flower, blooming not for anyone, not for anything, simply because that is its nature. And so, the Dharma in motion within you turns once again, slowly, freely, perfectly whole. Each rotation is the release of an expectation, the heart becoming lighter, the mind seeing deeper that peace does not come from having things as we wish, but from accepting them as they are. When we stop demanding, we are free. When we stop expecting, we are happy. Perhaps what causes human suffering the most is not what has happened, but the fear of what might happen. We fear loss, mistakes, loneliness, insufficiency, rejection, sickness, death. Yet the Buddha taught, fear arises from ignorance. When there is wisdom, fear melts like dew under sunlight. Fear is the shadow of impermanence. Because we resist change, we fear it. When we cling to what is changing, we suffer. When we want things unmoving, we worry. But life, as the Buddha said, is a constant stream of birth and death, coming and going, forming and dissolving. Nothing can be held forever, not even ourselves. In that realization, if we learn to let go, we see that impermanence is not frightening. It is the truth that deepens our appreciation for the present. The Buddha said, impermanence does not destroy happiness, it teaches us to cherish it. Because we know tomorrow may change, we value today. Because we know those we love may go, we love them fully while they are here. Because we know we too will pass, we live meaningfully, kindly, and sincerely. Fear often arises from lack of faith. When we trust in karma, fear lessens. When we trust in the Dharma, fear dissolves. When we trust in our own awakened nature, we stand firm. The Buddha said, within every being lies the seed of enlightenment. Believe in it, and you will never be lost. Someone once asked, how can I not be afraid when everything around me is uncertain? The Buddha replied, take refuge in yourself, in the Dharma, in your breath. When we return to ourselves, we find a place that never shakes, the mindful heart. Amid all change, only awareness remains unchanging. Fear comes from imagination. When we think too much about the future, we fear. But the future is only a shadow in the mind. When we return to the present, fear has nowhere to dwell. Notice, in this moment, as you breathe in and breathe out, does fear exist? No, for the present is always safe. Fear can only survive in the past or future, never in the now. When we cultivate deep faith, fear fades. Faith in karma means trusting. When I sow goodness, good fruit will come. Faith in the Dharma means knowing, no matter what happens, there is a path through. Faith in oneself means understanding. No matter how fierce the storm, my mind can remain still as a mountain. The Buddha taught, when you can lose everything and still be at peace, you are truly free. The words sound daunting, yet they are the key to liberation. For fear can only exist when we still depend. When we are ready to accept all loss, fear has nothing left to cling to. Then we are like one who has crossed the river. The waves still rise, but they no longer threaten. Remember, no one is born without fear. Even the Buddha, before enlightenment, trembled through the final night under the Bodhi tree. But he did not flee. He stayed, faced it, looked deeply, and saw that fear was only a thought, unreal. Seeing its nature, he smiled, and the darkness dissolved into the light of wisdom. Letting go of fear is not avoidance, but seeing. Each time fear arises, do not push it away. Breathe and ask, what am I afraid of? When we name fear correctly, it weakens, just as darkness fades when light is shone upon it. A simple practice. Whenever anxiety or fear arises, sit still, place your hand on your chest, inhale deeply, and whisper, I am safe, I am here, I am still breathing. Repeat this several times, and you will feel your heartbeat slow, your mind soften. In that moment, you have returned to the home of life itself. When we have faith, we no longer need to know what tomorrow brings, for we trust that, whether sun or rain, we can walk in calmness. When we trust in cause and condition, we no longer fear loss, for we know what is ours will come in its own time. When we trust in the path of mindfulness, we no longer fear being lost, for every step we take is already part of the way. The Buddha said, one with faith is like a sailor with a compass. Even amid great waves, they never lose direction. Faith is light in the night, a candle in the storm, a rope that holds us when the mind drifts toward despair. When we trust, we no longer need control, for we know the Dharma is already at work. And the Dharma, the law of the universe, is always just, always compassionate, always guiding us to where we must be. Tonight, if you are afraid of the future, of loss, of loneliness, of illness, allow yourself to breathe with that fear. Do not chase it away, do not hate it. Simply say, I see you here. Then breathe slowly, gently. Over time, you will see fear dissolve like clouds. For within a mindful breath, fear has no home. Those with true faith need little. They need only to trust their breath, trust karma, trust that no matter how long the night, dawn will come. Trust that even when the body fades, the mind remains luminous. With such faith, you will no longer fear life, nor people, nor death. For you will have seen the essence of existence itself, impermanent, yet utterly at peace. And so the Dharma, in motion within you, turns once more, round, radiant, casting light of trust into every corner of the heart. Each rotation is a steady breath, a faith rekindled, a smile in stillness. When you have faith, you no longer need to know where life is going, for you see clearly. Peace is not found outside, but within each calm breath you take. On the path of inner cultivation, there is a highest mountain each of us must climb, ourselves. Not the world, not others, but our own mind, full of contradictions, struggles, and longing to be understood. Many spend their lives conquering everything outside, yet forget to reconcile within. They may triumph over others, but remain defeated by themselves. The Buddha taught, "Victory over thousands in battle is nothing compared to victory over oneself." But how do we win? Not through force, but through acceptance. Only when we stop fighting ourselves do we begin to understand who we truly are. We often carry many things we have not forgiven ourselves for: a mistake, a decision, a time of weakness. We blame, we judge, and live in guilt and shame. We show compassion to others, but treat ourselves with harshness. And so, our hearts never truly rest. The Buddha said, "No one deserves your compassion more than yourself. For if you cannot love yourself, you cannot love anyone fully." Loving oneself is not indulgence. It is understanding and accepting the human who is still learning, still awakening. Each time we see an imperfect part within, anger, fear, fragility, do not reject it. See it as a lost child finding its way home. We need not drive it out, only open our arms and say, "I see you. I know you're tired." In that moment, we are practicing compassion. Acceptance does not mean surrender. It means seeing clearly without resistance. When we stop resisting what is, transformation begins. Just as still water reflects the sky, a still mind reveals truth. The more we fight, the more the mind stirs. When we stop, the mind naturally becomes clear. Many cannot love themselves because they compare. They look around and see others more beautiful, more successful, more joyful, and they feel small. But the Buddha taught, no one can be you, and you can never be anyone else. Each being is a unique flower in the garden of life. Comparison makes the fragrance fade, while acceptance allows the flower to bloom with its true scent. When we accept ourselves, we begin to harmonize with life, for life is but a mirror reflecting our inner world. If we dislike ourselves, we see others as irritating. If we love ourselves, the world softens around us. The beauty of life begins with a gentle gaze toward oneself. Accepting oneself also means accepting the journey. No one comes here already perfect. We come to learn. Every mistake is a lesson. Every stumble, a step toward wisdom. The awakened are not those who never err, but those who see their mistakes without hatred, because they know that even in error, there is the seed of awakening. If you are carrying regret, sit quietly and look deeply into it. Do not say, "If only I hadn't." Say, "I once did not know, but now I understand." That is the first step toward forgiveness. Forgiving yourself ends the silent war that has long raged within. Someone asked, "If I accept myself, won't I become weak?" The Buddha said, "When you accept, you find true strength. For those who reject themselves live in tension, while those who accept are at peace. And from peace arises the strength to grow without self-harm." Acceptance also anchors the mind in the present. When we resist, we live in should have and if only. But when we smile at who we are, even if imperfect, we are truly living. We stop waiting for tomorrow's peace because we realize peace is only ever found in this moment. Tonight, if you feel not enough, remember, no one is born enough, but anyone can be enough when they know how to love themselves. Place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, and whisper, "I accept myself. I don't need to be anyone else. I am learning, I am walking, and that is enough." Just this, and you will feel your heart lighten. The Buddha said, "One who accepts oneself has already walked half the path to enlightenment." For when we reconcile with ourselves, we reconcile with the world. When we stop resisting ourselves, we stop resisting others. When we cease demanding perfection of ourselves, we stop demanding life to be as we wish. Acceptance is the beginning of freedom, the doorway to compassion, the seed from which wisdom blooms. When you look upon yourself with understanding, the world responds with a smile. And so, the Dharma in motion within you turns again, slowly, quietly, complete. Each rotation is an act of self-forgiveness, of self-love, of self-understanding. When you stop fighting yourself, you begin to truly live. Peace does not come from becoming someone else, but from realizing that even as you are already worthy of love, of calm, of happiness. Human life is like a river, ever flowing, carrying memories, changes, gains and losses, meetings and separations. Some stand on the shore trying to hold the water that has passed. Others tremble at the waves ahead. Only those who merge with the river truly live. They do not chase the past or fear the future. They simply flow within the present. The Buddha taught, do not chase the past. Do not imagine the future. Dwell peacefully in the present. Yet what seems simple is often hardest. The human mind wanders endlessly. The body is here, but the mind is elsewhere. While eating, we think of work. While working, we think of rest. While sitting beside loved ones, we worry about tomorrow. Thus, we pass through life without truly living even a single day. Living in the present does not mean forgetting everything. It means being fully aware of what is happening without being lost in it. When breathing, know you are breathing. When walking, know you are walking. When sad, know you are sad. When happy, know you are happy. That alone brings the mind home. In the present moment, there is neither sorrow nor joy, only awareness. Sorrow and joy arise when the mind compares with the past or fears the future. When we are truly in the now, everything simply is. Nothing added, nothing taken away. And within that suchness, we discover freedom. Imagine sitting quietly, listening to the rain outside. No need to remember yesterday's storm. No need to think if tomorrow will be sunny. Just listen. Pure, fresh, complete. That is meditation. That is living presence. The Buddha taught, if you can live fully in one breath, you have lived a whole life. The breath is the bridge between body and mind. Each mindful inhale and exhale is a return to the home of peace. No matter how turbulent the world outside, within you remains a still space unshaken. We suffer because we live in two timelines and forget the moment now. We grieve what has passed and fear what has not yet come, both unreal. The past is memory, the future imagination. Only the present is alive. When you live fully in the present, even the smallest act becomes sacred. A cup of tea, a smile, a breath. You no longer search for happiness elsewhere, for happiness is already here, where you sit, within each gentle breath. To dwell in the present, we must learn to pause, to stop amid thoughts, desires, and noise. To pause is not weakness, but wisdom. The one who pauses knows where they are going. Let the past rest. It is done. Do not regret, repair, or return. Thank it for its lessons, and let it sleep. Do not fear the future. It has not come. Trust that if you live rightly today, tomorrow will be peaceful on its own. And so, live wholly in this very moment. When we live fully in the present, everything naturally becomes simple. We no longer need much to feel enough, nor need anyone's understanding to feel at peace. When the mind is calm, the world is calm. When the world changes, the mind remains calm. That is freedom in the Dharma. Someone asked, how can I know if I'm truly living in the present? The Buddha taught, when you are no longer swept away by regret or worry, when you can smile at the moment as it is, then you are truly alive. Tonight, you can try a simple practice. Turn off all the noise, sit quietly or lie down, and feel your own breath. Inhale deeply, knowing you are breathing in. Exhale slowly, knowing you are breathing out. Feel the breath like a gentle breeze flowing through your body, touching every cell, soothing worries, and healing wounds. In this way, you return to yourself, return to this very moment, where there is no past, no future, only peace. The Buddha taught, to dwell in the present is to dwell in nirvana. For nirvana is not somewhere far away, but right within each mindful breath. When you truly live in the present, free from attachment to gain or loss, victory or defeat, everywhere you go becomes a pure land. One who lives fully in the present never feels lacking. They do not wait for a better tomorrow, nor grieve a lost yesterday. They only know that today, in this very moment, they can still smile, still breathe, still love. And that is enough. When you learn to stop, to breathe, to live, the Dharma in motion within you turns more slowly, no longer spinning in restlessness, but revolving in peace. Each rotation is a mindful breath, a gentle smile, a true moment of being. And then, as you close your eyes, you will feel the stillness of the universe breathing with you. No more worry, no more regret, no more longing. Only the peaceful presence of a mind that has come home. A mind no longer bound by the past, no longer pulled by the future. A mind that is living, truly living, in the present. Dharma in motion. Thanks you for accompanying this journey. May each night, as you close your eyes, your heart feel as light as a cloud, your mind as bright as the moon, and sleep come gently, naturally, in serene peace. If these words of Dharma bring you calm, please share them so that more hearts may hear, may touch, may awaken. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dharma in Motion so that we may continue to meet again in future journeys, where the stories of the Buddha's teachings keep illuminating every step of life. May you always live in mindfulness, love with understanding, and sleep in tranquility. For in this impermanent world, there is only one place where we can truly rest: the peaceful heart.